Alright, are we on?
Lou.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, Mira.
Hi.
Guys.
Let's see, so Becca has talked to Amira before, but
I never
Silver and
had.
Robin she hasn't actually spoken to quite yet.
Hey guys.
Oh.
Let's see.
Hello.
What was I gonna say? Where'd Joe Clone at?
Uh, don't know.
Not here yet.
Hmm.
My mic
He was
is on, right?
He was like the first,
Yeah,
he
you're
was
good.
like the first
You're
one
good.
that
Okay,
said he was
great.
ready to go.
We'll chalk it up to internet problems.
Cruel irony.
Ouch.
Someone got impatient. Just like Frieza.
Oh my gosh. There's like an entire video online where someone breaks down exactly what that 5 minutes is, and their ultimate decision is like, yeah, no, he underestimated how much power it would take to destroy the planet, so he was like bluffing to Goku or something like that.
I like how they handle it in the abridged series, where he's just like, "Question, what is it? Do you have a watch? No. Why? Do you know what a minute is? What? Of course I don't think you do.
I think you do. Oh my god. Yeah, no, that's pretty good.
I mean, like, to me that makes the most sense. You know, he's used to everything. He's used to the universe revolving around him. So if he says it's 5 minutes, it's 5 minutes. It doesn't actually matter if it's 5 minutes or
Okay.
not.
That makes us, as someone who has never watched Dragon Ball, that makes a strange amount of sense.
No, same.
Yeah. Oh my.
No worries,
I-
Clone.
Microwave.
So are his parents Gran Torino?
Yes. The fish cookie is me. No, it's not.
No, it's not. You're right.
I really like that single line.
Oh yeah. That's yeah. That just any scene with Gran Torino honestly is just wonderful.
I agree.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's like, I'm supposed to be the old man. You're not supposed to be at that age yet.
Yeah. I just love how done he is with like everything. Like, and he's been done since he was like in his 40s when he trained All Might.
That sounds about right. That checks out.
How's everybody's 2022 been?
It's been pretty good, all things considered. Been some ups and been some downs.
You moved, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I moved from. I mean, it's only like a 20-30 minute drive just to make it easier for my dad, but yeah, had a lot of weird downs, but hey, nothing that can't be bounced back from.
Good.
And yeah, no, everything's going pretty swell. Everything's going. Yeah. How about everyone else? How's everyone else's year so far?
Been terrible.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Oh no, just mostly exam periods and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do not miss those days.
Same.
No.
No, but at least I'm assuming they're over now.
No, actually, got more next year, but you know.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, like for like the semester,
For now.
or however.
Oh
it's-
yeah. You
Yeah.
mean term? We say.
Yeah, term. Thank you. That's. Oh man, those different
I
terms.
was
I need to
about
brush.
to say, no, you're not speaking
there's
her language. You got to use the word terms and semesters.
It's our language.
I guess I should go back and reread the Harry Potter books.
Oh no.
Hello.
Oh no! Hey,
Joe
Joe.
Clone.
Hi.
Oh no,
Hey.
my favorite book was
I
Harry
love how
Potter.
Joe
and the
Clone comes on and
Sorcerer's
Silver's
Stone.
first response is, "Oh no."
Oh no.
Oh no.
Let's see. I think Robin was about to tell us how his 2022 was.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Let's do
By the
that.
way, I put a throwback in the
Oh,
chat.
that's a
Yes!
big throwback.
Back in the day.
Yes!
Oh, gosh. That had
Man,
to be
that-
like circa 20.
Like 17?
Yeah.
That was like my third B meme, and I think that was like the third one I made. That was 2017.
Oh man, that's like 6 years ago now. That's
What-
gross.
insane.
That's
What can he
gross.
say except "You're welcome"? Okay.
Oh,
What's up?
I have that letter from Silver like sitting in a frame next to my
Yeah,
head right now.
I actually I found this frame and I was like, what should we put in this frame? And I was like, oh hey, there's that letter from Silver. We'll just like frame it and put it by Joe's desk.
Get
Man,
rid of
that
that
was
and just frame a B meme.
I mean, on the one hand, I'm flattered, but on the other, like, I'm thinking, like, oh my gosh, cringe 16-year-old Will wrote in that.
Yeah.
Why do you have to keep
Oh,
a memento
God.
of my cringe?
I agree though. I think we should frame one of those B memes because
Yeah,
those were
it's
classic.
gotta happen at some point.
Just
Just
someone's
dig
gonna walk in your
just
house
dig
like,
through my
"What's-
old
what's
Twitter
that?"
and find the best one.
I don't have Twitter.
I'll find it. I'm sure I follow him. So.
Oh
Me
my
too.
god. Oh,
Oh, those are
Man,
Good.
Oh,
that was
man.
something.
Yeah,
The fact that you guys watched that nonsense,
See,
like, oh man.
I was someone who was bored, and I watched streams, and I still watch streams even now, just for the interactiveness of it. Like, it's more of like I'm not just watching it; I'm actually talking with people.
Yeah.
And it sounds kind of weird when I say it like that, admittedly, but
No, but
No,
it
I
makes
get
sense.
I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, that's more than half the reason why we do this is to be able to interact with you
Yeah,
guys.
and it's
Yeah,
fun
no,
to
of
find
course.
people who have the same weird interests we do. Also,
it's like, oh my gosh, you like that too? So that means I'm not crazy.
I mean, that or we're all crazy together.
I
I remember watching some of this. I remember watching some of the streams and like in college when I would just like go out to like the dining hall and then I would just turn you guys on and you watch you guys play whatever game it was. Maybe it was like what was that?
I think
That-
my favorite one that we cut together was the Old Republic.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
remember that.
That
I
was
don't- I
really
don't
fun.
remember
Like, I
watching-
still go back and watch that every now and again. That still makes me laugh.
Well, I don't think I saw that one too much, but I do remember the one with like I can't remember the name of the game, but with like all those anime properties together.
Was it
Jump Force?
Jump Force, that's what
Jump
it was.
Force? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
That
it was
fun.
either
See,
Jump
that's the
Force
game
or-
that's the game I can talk smack on and actually back it up. The other
See?
ones, not so much.
Not Smash Bros. Apparently.
Not Smash Bros.
Mhm.
No,
I got it
oh, man,
digitally
that
now,
face.
though.
It's lucky you guys aren't within arm's reach right now.
Oh my
See,
gosh.
I feel old because I feel like he just got Jump Force. It's like, oh yeah, that game you just got last year.
Now they
It's
don't
been
sell it anymore.
a while. Yeah.
it's
They
it's been a
don't?
minute.
No, they took it off for some reason. They're like, yeah, we're taking it off
Oh, wow.
everything. Like
Yeah,
even
it
like
doesn't,
Steam Store.
doesn't do online play anymore either.
That's crazy.
Hey, you want to know something?
Oh.
Crazy fact now, technically. Because of Naruto and Dragon Ball, everything in Jump Force is connected to Fortnite.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Oh, gross.
Why do you gotta bring the
no.
Fortnite into
Just
this?
thought I'd
thing?
ruin it for you, just because I had nothing
Well,
else
My Hero
better to do.
Academia's in it too now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I hate
And Star
Fortnite,
Wars.
but I have to say the one good thing that has come out of it is all of my elementary school aged kids are discovering the beauty that is anime and Star Wars.
That is valid. That's
Because
perfectly valid.
I have to say, because like a few years ago,
Hell yes.
like a bunch of my students had no idea
Yes.
what I liked. Like there'd be like the random weird kid who watches Star Wars with his dad or whatever, but like
Yeah.
most kids do not know. And ever since all these characters started appearing in Fortnite, like half the kids are watching anime. They all know who Goku is. They all know who Naruto is. Like they're obsessed, and it's fantastic because I have all these little weebs at my disposal.
That is glorious, I must say. That's absolutely glorious.
Aw.
My favorite part about Fortnite is how they put a major plot thread to the rise of Skywalker in that game.
That was
And
so
if
stupid.
you did,
I don't know.
if you didn't
whose
see that, then you would be totally
I don't know
confused.
whose idea of the marketing department that was. That is one of the dumbest marketing
Hey.
decisions I've ever heard of.
Okay, so they lost.
Wait, what?
Disney made so many old fans mad that they're like, you know what? We need to pick up some new meat because all our fans are leaving.
And they're like, Fortnite.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because there's a bunch of impressionable 8 to 12-year-olds and sometimes younger who are going to get into anything they see. So then, and sure enough, a bunch of them got into Star Wars after that. So just saying.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I don't
Eh.
disagree, but I don't like it.
I don't either. I mean, I mean, a lot of what Star Wars has done, of what Disney has done has been nonsense. but-
Hot take. I've actually enjoyed the Book of Boba Fett more than I've enjoyed Andor.
I haven't watched Andor yet, so I cannot give a rebuttal. But I will say, my favorite part about Book of Boba Fett was that time when they were going like 10 miles an hour in those Spy Kids cars.
Yeah, so the Book of Boba Fett I really enjoyed, but when they've got like the Vespa gang, I was like, okay, come on, what?
It You know, I
Amira
liked,
blinks and uneducated.
Blinks and
I
uneducated.
liked the character design, but it
look
did
at all
not
of that.
fit on that planet very well.
It
No,
did not.
I agree with you.
Why
Like
are your
conceptually,
bikes-
it was.
Why-
Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. Why are your bikes so pretty and shiny? We live on a planet with sand.
I don't like sand.
Coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Just like most of the Star Wars fandom.
Oh my gosh.
Also, there was
Okay.
just one scene my roommate and I keep laughing at where the guy like pulls out his gun and he does like this 360 spin to
Yeah,
pull
that
his
one,
gun
I
out
was
of the
like, what are
sheath,
you
and then he's
doing?
going,
Oh my gosh. I
Like,
love
it-
sending that to my friend as a meme and
Okay,
just be like,
the
it's,
only
it's
way I could have seen that being excused is if like laser bolts were flying right by his head, like as he spins out of
but
the
there
way.
was he was
But that
undercover.
doesn't
He was like
happen.
in a pillar.
See-
Like seriously.
You know how me and my friend
Reminds me-
justify that? The way I justify that to my friend is
You
like,
don't.
okay, you know what that scene is? That scene is basically, imagine if they're at a D&D table and he rolls a natural 20. He's
God.
like, all right, how do you want to do these? He's like, I want to be extra cool and do this cool little spin move and do like
Yeah,
the
but it's-
360 motion.
Cool.
It just reminds me the first, like when I was like 7 years old, it was the first time one of the neighbor kids let me play with one of their lightsabers, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm ready for this. I've watched so much Star Wars, and so I'm all like beating away all the kids and like
Yeah.
doing random spins, and like in reality, the spins.
And then
make
I
no
came along.
sense.
Spin
Oh,
move is a
shut
bad
up.
idea.
And then I
No.
married someone who's a martial artist and just destroys everyone because he's good at fighting with staffs.
Yeah. He's not good at Smash Bros though, so that's the thing.
Speaking of lightsabers, I just bought a new one recently. I
Oh,
got.
really?
Yeah, I got. Yeah, do you guys like?
You can put
Okay, if I
you can put
show
a
it,
picture of it in the chat if you want.
picture in the chat. Okay, I
Yeah.
know I took a picture. Hold
I'm
on.
actually
let
about
me
to get a
see.
new one on Thursday. I've really wanted for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's kind
is
of,
it like
it's kind
a...
of a cheap one, but
That's okay.
here we go.
That's not- this is
Hey,
a-
lightsabers are lightsabers.
Oh yeah, that's
Ooh.
right. You did.
Oh,
say
Oh
What's
yeah,
that.
that
yeah,
one?
that's right. I remember showing you that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
really
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, that's cool. No,
Oh
so
yeah,
the one
oh
that
yeah.
I'm
I think
get-
I did show this one. Yeah, off. Yeah, that's right.
What hilt is that? I can't.
it's one of those
It's a dark
Hasbro
saber.
customizable ones.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's a dark saber. Yeah.
Nice. I
Yeah.
like it.
No, so the
So can I
one
kill
I'm
you
getting-
and take that for myself?
Well, see, that's me with our son because Joe got our son a really cool hilt, and I want it for me. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Ma-
yeah. she
Master
got the-
Becca, there's too many of them. What are we going to do?
Yeah. I got my son the
Exactly.
Fallen Order hilt with a yellow blade on it.
Oh, that is so cool.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
My
I'm gonna
daughter
come
has
over
a
and put it on myself.
my daughter has a pink Ahsoka lightsaber too.
See,
what?
you made the
Pink
grave
one.
mistake. You made the grave mistake of having my favorite hilt with my favorite color. So now I'm gonna come and
Right?
steal that for myself.
You gotta
Here,
get past
here's
me
mine.
and my lightsabers to get
It's-
that,
it
man.
is- so cool.
I will
His hilt
do
is-
my best, good sir. I will do
His
my
hilt
best.
is way cooler than mine, and so but it's heavier than mine. So sometimes he'll be like, "Hey, mommy, can we switch?"
Oh, that's so
Oh.
cool. Oh,
Yeah.
those are cool.
Yeah, those are.
Got that
Those
Dooku
are.
band over there.
Yo.
It's a Dark Bane and Starkiller.
Very nice.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
That
I
is
see that. I
wonderful.
see that. Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Super high quality. My
Yeah,
goodness.
they're super high quality.
I'll have to, on Thursday is when my new saber comes in. I'll have to show you guys pictures of it. But
Yeah,
growing
of
up,
course.
one of the first ones that I had was the Obi-Wan Kenobi hilt from episodes 1 and 2. And
Nice.
I played
nice.
with that. It was one of the plastic ones, like you hold down the red button and you flick the blade out.
Yeah, no, I love those.
I
Yeah.
had that one
I
as
played.
well.
So
think
I had the
still
blue
have
one.
a couple.
I played with that so much that the hilt just broke apart eventually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
much I use that. That's how much I use that thing.
There
So
are so
my
many
new
times
saber is coming in, and it's like the super high quality version
of that.
of that, but it's gonna have a red blade on it because obviously.
Yeah, no, of course. Gotta
The-
murder everyone.
But both
So
of these
it's funny-
ones are.
It's funny you mentioned that. It's funny you mentioned that because I still got one of these, and it's got a red blade as well.
Oh, good for you.
Oh,
I have that
yeah.
one.
Nice.
I
We
have
got
that
one.
one.
We were-
I have that
yeah,
one.
it's
Yeah.
a
I still have
Qui-Gon.
some of those,
It's
yeah.
a Qui-Gon hilt with a
But
red
it's
blade.
got a red
so
blade. Yeah, because they
I got the Qui-Gon with a green blade.
well, originally
and
it
a
was
blue blade.
gonna be
Oh,
it was gonna be Sidious's hilt.
I didn't
Oh,
think it was a
wow.
video. I don't know why that was a video.
Yeah, originally it was going to be Sidious's hilt for the red blade, but they were cheap and decided to just do Qui-Gon hilt and just put
Yeah.
a red blade on it. But
yep.
all right, we've gone on Star Wars long enough. I feel like
That-
Amira's
that's
just
true.
kind of sitting here spectating.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
no,
I
do know, like,
apologize.
a little bit. Not that educated.
The last note about mine. both of mine are color changing, and the Starkiller one is a Neopixel blade.
Would
That's
you like to
sick.
see my
Oh.
RGB lightsaber?
It is an RGB lightsaber.
Oh my goodness.
You know,
The gamer
actually, my
lightsaber.
Starkiller one can like turn like a rainbow.
That's amazing.
The one Jedi who's also an elite gamer.
Yeah, for some reason it has like there's all these different sound fonts on it, and like for some reason one of them is Sailor Moon for some reason, and it just
What?
turns rainbow and starts going. Here comes Sailor Moon.
Respect.
That's amazing.
Mad respect.
Oh,
See,
it has
it's taking
nothing to
everything
do with
in me
Star
not
Wars.
to go and get every lightsaber in this house, but I know if I do, our kids will be like on us like flies.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
like I have
That's-
like
yeah.
30 lightsabers in my house, and that's not an exaggeration.
But like 4 of
Oh,
them
wow.
are the nice ones. So
Yeah, I have like 3. One of them's like from the Star Wars land, and the other 2 are like for something that I was going to shoot at one point when I was 17, but I haven't gotten around to filming that yet.
mm,
I'm hoping to at some point, but
nice.
Other
All mine are
things,
just really
so-
old.
we should probably
move on.
rerail this
Alright.
discussion.
All right, yeah, let's move. All right, so topic of discussion: Your Hero Academia. So I've got a couple of topical discussions that to help move this along. So the first one is, how did each of you find this story? And I know we've gone over this with Amira, but I don't mind hearing it again to pass along to the others.
Sure, of course.
Joe told me you should read it.
Yeah, I hadn't heard from you in a minute.
That was I'd like had like a 4-year blank period, like, and I was like,
Yeah, no, you were. I mean, I still heard from you because
I was
we
only in
kept
contact with Will. We played games sometimes because we had
Yeah,
Discord.
Nice.
Yeah, we kept playing like we were here together. We still
Yeah.
need to finish that, by the
And,
way.
yeah, and Portal.
Lots of Portal. Very fun.
yeah. And then I didn't have anyone else's Discord, and the fanfiction PM system is garbage. So like, I didn't like.
Oh yeah, no,
do
that's
anything.
true.
Yeah, a little bit.
And so I was just like, I don't know. I decided to write a fanfiction, and I was like, okay, Joe, you should read it. And he's like, okay, but you should read mine. And I was like, cool. There you go.
And you just finished reading like Your Hero Academia like last night, right?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
This,
Okay.
I think Robin gets MVP for fans this year because he binged My Hero Academia and then read my fanfiction just because I asked him to.
Okay.
That is
Wow.
that is fair. I can't. I can't.
I've
argue
got
that.
to be honest with you about something. You know, I told you I only had a couple chapters last night.
Yeah.
A couple is more like 30.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I have nothing. I have nothing.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
That's pretty good,
That's
man.
dedication, dude.
But I read them all. I was like, I'm such a slacker. I gotta sit down and read them all. So I read like chapter like 45 through 73 last night. Or something
Oh.
like that.
Wow.
Wow.
So you basically read 2022's because chapter 46 was the one that I started this year with.
Yeah.
So you basically read
Yeah.
this entire year's work in one night.
All because I didn't read one a day like I should.
What was this suddenly college where like you don't read any of the chapters and like the day before it's due it's like, oh crap, let me like crunch everything, have my highlighter, have my
sleep
textbook.
with the textbook under your pillow and just hope you absorb the knowledge by osmosis.
Yes.
Exactly.
I didn't get that far into it.
I remember seeing the perfect meme that reflects this situation. I
one
have
does.
it over here.
All right, well,
Yeah,
the meme
that's
lord
nice.
figures that out. Joe Clone, how'd you find about this story?
Oh, just because I've been following you for a number of years now, so I've known like your other stories like Fire Sword and actually I think the first one I found was your Toa Vinecrad thing, and I was like, okay, cool.
Probably.
See, that's like
That's-
the most obscure one.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yes. 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 I am saving that. That is totally me.
Another, also just people who have ADD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a story to share about this meme, but I'll save it for later because I don't want to like derail the discussion.
No
So-
worries. Yeah, I think that's still the only Bionicle SAO crossover out there. I may be wrong at this point. I haven't checked that.
Yeah,
today.
I
I'm
think
running
it
a
still
search
is.
right now.
Running a search right now. Okay, all right. Let's
Run
find
a
out if I'm
search.
still. It's been
Bionicle
years since that
just
story
itself
happened.
is
I'm
still
interested to see if I'm
obscure.
still the only one.
Bionicle
Let's
itself
see.
is just so obscure. Like, I doubt anybody's ever made
Mhm.
like very, very notable fan fictions about that franchise.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
at least I haven't seen any.
I mean, yeah. It's which is such a shame because like it's such a rich lore.
It is.
Bionicle?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
I mean,
Yeah,
so I'm
classic
assuming you never
Bionicle.
read any of the books or anything.
I've never touched. The only thing I've touched is like that one commercial for like the Mask of Light movie or something like that, and
Okay,
that's like
all
the
right.
extent of my
Yeah,
Bionicle
dude. No,
lore
dude.
knowledge.
The books were great. Like I still
DC
have some,
Comics
I still
published
have some
them
of them.
and
I'm gonna
sent a
read them to
copy
my
with
kids when
every
they're
Lego
old enough.
magazine.
Yeah.
Like one of our little kids in Sunday school was reading one of the books, and Joe just lost his mind. It was amazing.
Oh, that's glorious. That's glorious.
I think I still have a copy of my comic with like Vizon and Fenrak in there somewhere.
Ooh,
Oh.
that was a good. I think the Paraka series might have been my favorite.
Yeah, you're still the only one on fanfiction.
Yes, I'm unique.
Yay!
I'm also on fanfiction.
What was I gonna say? Amira, how did you? I forget. How did you find the story?
Hi. I think I was looking for inspiration on fiction. I stumbled across yours, and then I couldn't put it down. So I've just been chasing after it for a while.
All right,
That's
Yeah.
it. That's literally. There's
Okay,
like no
I'll take it.
story or anything.
Yeah.
I'm just bored.
Yeah, no, that's-
And
that's
now
totally
the
fair.
poor thing is stuck with all of these crazy people all the time.
I know.
What's up with that?
Oh, she knows.
I have.
It's fine. It's fine. I don't mind. You guys are fun. So.
Yeah,
But now
Well,
she
that's
gets to
good.
sit here while we swim in nostalgia and just not understand anything we're
I-
saying.
she's like, what?
I
She's
feel
like, these
kinda
old,
bad,
she's like,
honestly.
these old people. This is what boomers sound like.
Welcome to
Old
my
people?
world,
I'm not
Amira.
old.
Oh no, I don't think you guys are old. It's fine. I'll just
Oh.
sit here.
We're still babies, technically.
Technically, I mean, I don't know. We have children. I don't think we can be. I don't think we fall into the babies category anymore.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Adults are
but yeah,
just
that's
children
fair.
that have more knowledge.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll try.
This is true.
Yeah.
It doesn't get
Yep.
better.
No.
You
Oh,
think
no.
like, oh, things will just come back and everything will be better. Like, nope,
Oh,
I still don't
man,
know what
yes!
I'm doing.
Okay.
Yes.
That is horrifying.
That's awesome.
Wait, Bionicle was DC?
Yeah.
Well, DC published it.
DC published
DC
it.
published it. That makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes
Yeah, I
sense.
had a Lego magazine subscription, and they sent a free copy with every magazine.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
I
been
just
happening for years.
I just remember like the ads would come up and I'd be like, oh my gosh, this looks so dumb. I want to watch my movie. I'd be sitting there with my VHS player, like fast forwarding through all the commercials so I could get to my movie. like,
As one does.
Let's-
Man, is it weird? Like, I feel old now because I do remember, like, as a kid, like watching all of those VHS movies and just either fast forwarding through the commercials or like watching like that 2000s ad for like California Adventure or something like
Coming
that.
soon
Yeah.
to DVD.
Coming soon to own on DVD.
That's
Exactly.
it. That's it.
Do 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 do.
On video.
We
it's-
soon to own.
DVD was
DVD
brought
and
to you
video.
by Disney's Fast Play.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This Disney DVD is enhanced with Disney's Fast Play.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long.
We're old.
You're
See,
old.
And then I just taught my son. So we just bought my son a tape recorder.
I forgot it.
Oh.
And so I literally made him a mixtape for Christmas because he's constantly asking me to play music on my phone.
Oh,
Aww.
that is
And
awesome.
he's 3 years old and he's already figured out how to use the tape player, and I'm so
That's
proud.
wonderful.
It's
Like
amazing.
I'm not. That's I'm not. I don't even have a joke for that. That's just actually really cool.
Yeah.
Aw.
It's super cute. Yeah, he listens
Yeah.
to all of his, has Weird Al and a bunch of other like random things that he loves.
Like Into the
And
Spider-Verse.
Into the
Aw.
Spider-Verse songs. Oh yeah. And so then like at the end he gets all excited. He like rewinds it and then it starts it over 20 times.
He's
Nice.
gonna grow up and he's gonna be like, I'm an old soul.
Yeah.
Hey,
He were like considered cool, I think,
Mhm.
because he had old.
he's like, hey, did you ever remember that movie Guardians of the Galaxy?
That old movie, the really old movie,
Yeah.
The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's gonna be my son- my
Our
kids are gonna be
kids.
like, hey, did you ever see that really old movie, Captain America: Civil War?
Oh wow.
Oh,
Gosh.
We're gonna have to catch them up on the MCU. Like, when I have children, it's gonna be like, oh, here's like 50 things you gotta watch
I know.
if you
I
want to
can't
watch
wait.
the newest
See,
MCU.
it's sad because they're still too little. But Daniel, because they're watching the like baby Spider-Man show. that's
Yeah.
like for the
Oh
babies,
gosh.
They're obsessed with Iron Man now because he makes a few cameos, and of course.
Wait, they're watching Spider-Man and they're
Oh.
obsessed with Iron Man? Come on.
I mean, that's how it normally goes. Yeah.
I mean, isn't
No,
that what
that's-
Spider-Man did?
I mean, they've been obsessed with Spider-Man for the last year.
Touche.
Daniel had a Spider-Man, a Miles Morales birthday party.
Okay, good.
But
okay.
of course, Peter looks up to Spider-Man.
Oh,
So
man.
of course
No,
he's
Peter
gonna-
looks up to
Peter looks up to
Man.
Iron Man.
Sorry, Iron Man. That's what I meant. And
Actually-
so now Daniel's like, Mommy, I want to see Iron Man too. excuse me. And so, but it's like I can't really show you the movies because you're
They're
There's the
bit-
old '90s cartoon though.
Yeah, I tried showing him, and he was like, I want to go back to Spidey and Friends. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
What
And
about
then-
Iron Man Armored Adventures? That's another
Tried
one.
that too. Didn't like it.
It's going to
Aw,
come to
man.
a point where like you're showing him the Marvel movies and then you show him Infinity War and then like, all right, can we watch Endgame? No. You have to wait 2 years. Why?
Like
because
I
you have
did.
to wait like we did.
Yeah.
My way. 12 years
Captain
of
America's
it.
Civil War was actually the last MCU film I saw in theaters up to Spider-Man No Way Home.
Really?
I saw
Interesting.
Endgame the
I
day
got
it
married
came
and
out
I had kids.
on accident.
No, that's totally fair. I just found that I don't know, that's just interesting to me for some reason.
Oh, Ahsoka, do you need to go outside?
My dog is being needy.
Okay.
Becca will be
I'll
right back.
Sorry.
But what we were watching, I was with some friends and we were gonna watch Captain Marvel because Endgame was coming out, and I had already seen it. So friends were like, "Okay, let's go. I'll watch it again just so we can like catch you up and we can all watch Endgame."
Yeah.
We go to the theater. We're checking in for Captain Marvel. We look up and it's the day before Endgame's supposed to come out, and then they've got one of those like pre-screening days. It comes out on this day, but it's actually in the theater like the day
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And then we look up and we're
Uh-huh.
like, "Oh shoot, Endgame!" And then we just look like, "Are there seats available?" And then we look, and there's like in the first 2 rows there's seats available. We're like, "Okay, we're watching. Okay, we're gonna watch Endgame." And so we watched
yeah.
Endgame. We watched Captain Marvel, and then later that day we came back and we watched Endgame.
I have not seen. So I have not seen. I have not seen Captain Marvel. I have not seen the Ant-Man. I have not seen Ant-Man or Ant-Man and the Wasp.
You should watch Ant-Man
I
and the Wasp.
will watch
though.
the Ant-Man movies eventually. I don't like Brie Larson, so I don't think I'm
Yeah,
gonna watch.
No, it's
Captain
okay.
Marvel was
Captain Marvel
garbage.
was kind of.
I heard the
It was
movie was
garbage.
pretty blah, anyways. So
It wasn't even
Yeah.
even infuriatingly bad. It was just
mediocre.
boring. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like if it was bad,
Mhm.
I could feel something about
It
it.
was
Going like
kinda
a
like
rant like
trying
with
to,
Harry
like-
Potter, but
I don't know. It's like when you
The
have
best
like,
thing
an
about Captain
overpowered
Marvel was
hero.
Nick Fury.
Nick
oh
Fury.
yeah, that
Oh,
that thing
yeah.
I will agree with. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Samuel L.
Mhm.
Jackson tends to steal the show, whatever film he's in.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Okay.
Except in Star Wars,
I mean,
they
yeah,
really
yeah,
dumped him
Star
down
Wars,
there.
he's like, I'll do it if I get a purple lightsaber, so I can stand
Done.
out in the crowd.
Ah, that lightsaber.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Silver, how
Alright.
did you find your hero?
I don't even remember like how I found that particular story to begin with. I remember I was just following you for a particularly long time. In fact, you know what's really weird? I still remember the day I found your entire thing on fanfiction. I was like 14 or 15. I was like supposed to be doing some online school. I was like, no, I'm not going to be doing some online school. I want to look at some fanfiction. So I was
Yeah.
literally looking through like the Sword Art Online stories, and I was looking at the Star Wars crossovers, and that's when I found Star Sword. And I was reading through. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is actually really good. And so I finished reading Star Sword,
Rip Star
which
Sword too.
to this day is probably my favorite story of yours that
Real-
you've written.
Really?
In my personal opinion, I just really
I
like what you did with Yui, and
Yeah,
like I love
yeah,
how
I
you
had
made
a lot
her
of
more
fun
of a
with that.
protagonist. And that's probably the reason why I like Star Sword too. For what that's worth.
Yeah, yeah.
Just because.
I enjoyed that too, but like my health problems were catching up with me. I was just feeling some severe burnout.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it anymore. I had to.
Yeah,
I had to
no,
take
of
a
course.
Step back.
And even like if I eventually get around to it, like I'm writing my own SAO story. I'm
Yeah.
hopefully gonna. I'm planning on finishing it. It might be years, literal years. But yeah, exactly. That meme right there. But like if I ever reach the Gun Gale arc, my plan for that is to make Yui the protagonist for that, and that was based off your Star Sword story.
Okay.
And so yeah, I read your Star Sword. I'm like, this is great, and so I started looking at your things, and I remember seeing, I forget which story it was, but you said that you were live streaming. I'm like, oh hey, that's cool. So I started watching the live streams, and here we are, I guess. It has been something. What can I say?
That could be taken
Like-
multiple
Legacy
ways.
of
but I will choose to
Korea.
take it as a
Yeah.
good one. I will foolishly choose to take it as a good one.
I think we have. Oh, he changed it. I was like Legacy of Korea. That sounds.
Legacy of Korea?
It's
Did you say Legacy of Korea?
It's amazing.
I didn't mean to.
Let's
It
not go into that
autocorrect-
legacy, shall we?
It autocorrected.
Oh my gosh.
You're good. I know how that autocorrect goes, man. I have plenty of
It-
stories there. All right. Sorry, I was like, all right.
Yeah,
That's an interesting fan fiction name, but I can't get behind.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely.
Your dog just wanted to go talk to her friends, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Brat.
I love how she's my dog.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess she is because I picked her up and took her in the house. So yeah, I guess she's my dog.
Okay.
Where was her collar? Outside?
It was just on the porch. She just left it on
This
the porch.
dog keeps finding ways to ditch her collar and trying to hide it from us.
Wow.
That is.
All right.
That,
sorry.
yeah, that's. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Crazy dog.
Sorry. Moving on.
All
we
right.
have
So we've covered how everybody found the story. Next part we're gonna go is the favorite / worst parts of Your Hero Academia over the last year.
Over the last year. Okay. Let me go ahead and
over the last year, got it. Yeah.
there's been a lot. There's been
Okay,
a lot.
in
Like I
Robin's
was
case-
reading.
In Robin's case, what was the worst or favorite part over what you read last night?
Wow. Okay.
Let me go ahead and pull this up. Actually.
Okay, so for clarification, so at the beginning of the year, he had just found out that he wasn't born with his quirk, but he didn't know like he had a
Right,
suspicion
okay.
as to where it came from, but like that's kind of what launched him into investigating his family and the events that spiraled on from there.
Yeah. No, that's right. I'm trying to refresh myself because it's been. You know, I was literally telling this to myself last night. It's like, at the very beginning of the story, he said he was going to die, but here we are, 73 chapters in, 2 years into the story,
Still hasn't
and he
died.
still hasn't died.
Nearly 3 years. It'll be 3 years in April.
I know, but I'm just,
Wow.
I was just saying, like, wow, when's he... Please die already!
So you're disappointed that he hasn't died already? Is that what
You know,
it is?
I feel like one of those one of those people who's like in the betting boxes of like the I don't know, like the Survivor, and I'm like, I hope he's cut off this time. I hope he's cut off this time. Dang it, he's not. It's someone else. It's his freaking dad or anything like that. Spoilers, sorry.
Robin, what?
Legacy of Korea. I love it. Yes, Robin, thank you for this. I needed this today.
That's amazing.
I'm saving that to my phone.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Robin, you find your answer. I'm gonna like refresh myself on a bunch of the other chapters real quick, just so I have a more of a clear idea. So.
All right,
That's right.
Robin, what do you got?
Skip me, and I need to think. I've been focusing on memes.
Of course,
Joe,
yeah.
your turn.
All right, Joe.
Okay. Oh boy. So
We're trying to figure out how to tell you that we just hate the story without.
no.
No, I was kidding.
The story's awesome. We just
No,
wanna
that's
figure
all-
out
we're all-
the
I
best
hate the story.
parts.
Every single one of us hates the story.
Yeah,
I
we're
know.
just trying
I
to figure out a way
saw
to
the
No, no.
question and I'm like, ooh,
No.
brace yourself, my dude.
All right. So wait.
Fight
Okay.
me!
Let's see. The first chapter of this year was which one? Is it
Chapter
40?
It was, I think it was. Wait,
46?
Nobody
46?
remembers. Like, tell us the topic because no one actually memorizes the name, the
He,
numbers like you.
they're celebrating that they've gotten their provisional licenses with the exception of Bakugo, and and then like the chapter kind of starts with like, hey, wait a minute, where's Kunai? He said he was going to be here, and then you know his close crew they're like, is he hurting himself again? So like they all run upstairs to check on him. He's not hurting himself again, but he's just he's figured out like there's a big problem here. And him and Deku take that time to explain to the girls like this is one for all. This is what it does. This is what it means to have it. Yada yada yada.
Have you ever heard of Among Us, Amina?
God.
Sorry, I just had to make that joke once. Okay.
Oh man, no.
I you know what? I didn't like how you made Bakugo break down and cry.
Really?
Where was that?
Yeah, that was because the part where Bakugo and Deku are supposed to have their fight.
That's right. Yeah.
And then Karai tails them and eavesdrops on them. And then basically has a talk no jutsu moment with Bakugo, and then Bakugo cries.
I mean, he cries in the original, and I felt like he had more reason to cry.
Yeah,
in
but
this
they
version.
I'm
fought.
curious the reasoning.
They fought, and it was like an emotional thing between him and Deku, and then basically Karai comes and just says like, "Tough luck, buddy," and then he starts crying. I don't know.
I mean, fair enough. My counter argument to that is that in the original, he was crying before they fought each other. So I feel like the timing still fits, but I mean, I understand. I can understand how that would feel like
There's
he
not
undercut
as-
their moment.
There's not as much catharsis because there wasn't violence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even saying that in a joking way.
It's just
Yeah,
I
no,
just
that's
don't I just don't
fair.
think it's in Bakugo's character to cry and then just leave.
Yeah.
Like if he's gonna cry, there's gonna be violence. There needs to be violence. It's just
Yeah.
Violence
I-
is his love language.
Yeah, I
It
can
is.
see that. I can see that.
Fair enough.
Then again, my personal headcanon for Bakugo is that he loves classic literature like Lord of the Rings, so what do I know?
Do you know?
Really?
Do you guys know why we didn't see his room
Canonically.
Canonically, like Horikoshi has said this. Do you know why we didn't see his room?
Is it 'cause-
I think I heard
No.
about this, but remind me.
I
Does he have
genuinely
the
don't
All-Might
know.
It's
decorations?
because he's a fan of romance manga and he didn't want anybody
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
That makes a weird amount of sense.
to see.
It does make sense.
It does.
So yeah, that's why we don't see his room in the show.
Because someone needs to like put someone accidentally going into his room and just seeing
Like
all
all
of
the
this.
Your Lies in April manga, or even like a
Yeah.
silent voice like in a frame on his wall.
Yeah.
or
rent
something.
a girlfriend just in shelves.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Oh man, that's. Yeah, no, that's.
He has like the Naruto the last movie like in 50K HD like tucked away in a corner.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Please not one.
Or he
Yeah,
just, or just watches all
You know,
all
Silver,
the
you would understand
obscure
if you had
romance
seen
stuff.
Naruto.
Oh, yeah.
You see, the thing is, I really don't feel like watching 1,000 episodes.
That's
Don't be a
fine.
baby.
Again,
It's
we can
720.
I have
You
to
could
say,
just
that
watch
was
the
us for a
original
long time.
200 episodes.
I had a
I could.
coworker that was trying to get me to watch One Piece, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like,
No, don't
you want me to
yeah.
commit
That
to
one's
that?"
like that's literally over 1,000 episodes.
Yeah.
I'm still
Yeah.
going.
Even
My
I
favorite anime is
don't go
Sesame
that
Street.
far.
Like, yeah, I'm sure it's great,
1,400
but
You're
like,
braver
I don't
than
need
we
to
are,
commit my
Amira.
life to that
I'm
right
sure
now.
Yeah.
at some point I will start One Piece. It's just because like I've watched
No.
Fairy Tail. That's a train wreck. I've heard
Oh,
One
boy.
Piece is
Yep.
worse.
I
So-
want to watch One Piece because I want a good pirate manga story. So I've been looking for that like in stores for a while now, and every time I see One Piece, I'm like, it's just so long. It's not
It
even
is-
done yet.
That's the
It's not
thing.
even a
Like, read the
finished
manga.
story.
'Cause There's no point watching the anime. Like, there's a lot of filler in the anime. Just read the manga.
Okay, maybe I will.
See,
Maybe
we're
Yeah,
I
that's
will.
true. If you
Yeah.
want, if for Naruto, if you want to do it faster, just like read the manga.
There's a
Yeah,
bunch
or
of
read manga.
too.
That's
If you if the Viz Media app, it's like $2.99 a month, and it's got like unlimited manga on there, pretty much.
But I like
Um,
having the physical manga on my wall
Yeah, but
and
that's
spending
expensive.
all the monies.
But yeah, just Naruto, you could get through a lot faster if you just read the manga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
that's
Vigilantes
not
is
Or
on
you know,
Viz Media.
Google which filler episodes to skip.
Oh, dude, I want to see.
Yeah,
more.
but also-
I want to read Vigilante so bad.
Oh, see here, I've been reading Vigilantes like for the past year. I'm waiting for it to finish. It is so good. Like I'm not even joking. And can I just say,
I have no doubt that they will
Let me-
adapt that into
See,
an anime once My
we-
Hero
Let me say
Academia is
this.
done.
We are afraid
What-
to get into manga because we will spend all of our money, and we have like children to raise.
okay, well,
Like I
one,
said,
let me
just
let me
do
say,
it
let me help you with this. There's only 13 volumes of Vigilantes out currently, and it's on its last stretch. Like there's gonna be like 1 or 2 more volumes at most, in my opinion.
Yeah, let's
And
see.
two,
$7
it
a
goes
manga.
into a surprising amount of depth at the school life of President Mike Aizawa and their third friend. I forget his name.
The guy
Oboro,
who
I think?
became
The guy becomes Kurogiri. Like
Yeah.
it goes to a surprising amount of depth of their school life, and it is really really nice.
Yeah.
So
I want that.
so yeah, no, it is totally worth it, and quite frankly, there is a really good Infinity War reference in it.
Huh.
Like without spoiling, like one of the main villains is like, "You should have gone for the head," and then he proceeds to
Oh.
murder everyone.
Oh man. See.
Oh,
go ahead.
So I'm sorry. Anyways, yeah,
you're
Vigilantes is good. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Also, it has my favorite Deku-esque protagonist. It's basically like, you know how like my hero is like Superman and Robin with Deku and All Might, kind of in
Yeah.
a sense. It's basically
Yeah, you know,
Batman
me and
or
Superman.
Superman and whatever is. It's basically Batman and Robin Vigilantes. That's basically what it is.
Okay.
Like even the guy's account, he's like, he doesn't have any quirks. He just beats the crap out of you. He was like, and he talks like this, or at least that's my headcanon.
Yeah, that's Knuckle Duster.
My name is Knuckle Duster.
Where are they? All right, back to okay. So we had Robin's least favorite moments from the story. Does anybody?
I do,
wanna
yeah.
Who
I
else
do
wishes
have a-
to jump on this bandwagon?
I have 3 favorite moments and then like 2 least favorite moments.
Okay.
So I'm just because this is the one that's most fresh in my mind. I was reading the last chapter last night, catching up, and it was like as they made it to Naboo Island.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm excited for that. The second movie is one of my personal favorite pieces of My Hero.
Yeah.
But I just really liked how it was a beach episode, but I just loved how you wrote it, like with the. It was like they were fangirling, obviously, but it wasn't done in an overbearing way. It was done in a really real. I don't know why. I just really genuinely like that.
Okay.
It was like more of like,
That was fun.
you're like, hey,
Yeah,
can we go? Like, yeah.
Yeah, someone I can't like we were filming for the reviews last night, and someone I don't remember who they were like it was they said it was like cool to see like an anime protagonist who doesn't like do the typical thing and like turn into a blushing stuttering mess whenever a cute girl comes on to him that isn't his significant other,
Yeah.
and
No,
like he just kind of like went with it.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the first thing, and then even like the little thing with like even Kirishima, I was like, oh man, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really like. So yeah, that was the first one. The other thing that I liked a lot was just Mina and Karai's relationship starting essentially. And I mentioned this like in one review, and I won't go too much in depth into it. I had a girlfriend recently, and we broke up a few months ago, and so that was a time. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that that just really spoke to me in that moment. So it was actually just really nice to see that happen. Like I'm not gonna say living vicariously because that feels almost insulting for lack of a better word, but it was definitely. It was definitely nice to see at that point this year.
Okay.
So I want to say thank you for that front, honestly.
Oh, you're
It was really nice to read that.
Yeah.
Now-
dude.
Now, I
So-
saw on the chapter before the current chapter, you said, oh, I'm going to make a whole chapter about the cruise ship on the way to the island, and then all of a sudden we're on the island.
I did not say that I was going to make a chapter about the cruise
I don't know.
ship.
I remember reading that ending. Hold
It
on.
might have been as a joke in the Omaki, but I don't remember writing that. I'm gonna look at this real quick because I do not remember that.
Lying and not keeping your
It
word.
sounds familiar.
No, I don't lie. I don't lie when it comes to my stories. I don't.
least you don't try to.
Because I cannot get silence.
Oh yeah, no problem, Mira.
We're not hearing
no
anything.
problem
It's
at all.
okay.
Yeah, he was being. Yeah. I was being facetious.
Being facetious.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let me read the Omaki bit. Let's see. Deku says, so we're going to be on Naboo Island starting.
No, hold
chapter.
on, we
Mataras
can't
says,
have it in
"No, I
your
was planning
voice.
on
You're
doing
gonna
a whole
make it.
chapter about your guys' ride on the ferry. There's so many things I can do with that." And then Kai goes, "Sarcasm is not a form of wit." Mataras goes, "Bite me. Let me have some fun."
Okay, in my defense, it was like 12:30.
I know. Same,
And
dude,
whose fault is that?
dude,
Oh
I
my
get
gosh.
like false memories of his stories all the time, and he's like, "What?"
Well, to be fair, this is a real memory. I just skipped the next line.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's user
So-
error. That's not that's not on me.
Yeah.
Oh well.
And then the third thing that I liked the most about the story was I can't remember exactly where it was or what it was, but I think oh wait no that's right the interview. I really liked that. I don't know why. Like a part of me was expecting like something's gonna go wrong because shonen animates there's always
Yeah.
something that
Yeah.
goes wrong.
Yeah.
But no, I just really liked how you handled that as well. It was as someone who's I don't know. I have really nothing else to say. It was just a really well written and well executed moment.
Thank
Because
you.
like you're always like the interviewers are the bad guys. Let me try and
I
delve
wanted
into
to-
every single.
I wanted to set up that expectation and then undercut it. So
Okay.
so to hear that was your reaction, that tells me that I did my job there,
Okay,
which is
yeah.
good to hear. So thank you.
No, that's
I
good.
think we like covered this too in one of the reviews, but it's like a lot of times, you know, when you watch the rise and fall of celebrities in the media, they can't just chew them up and spit them out right away. They got to build up people's expectation. And so it's like he's a new hero, he's a new celebrity. They've got to get people liking him. And it's like they don't necessarily do this on purpose, but generally, you know, celebrities get popular, people follow everything about them, and then once they've exhausted every possible thing about them, then they start picking at things that are wrong with them. So to me, it makes sense. Not even that the media is intentionally destroying people, which I mean they do, but it's like that's how they keep that's how they keep viewers, and that's how they get ratings up, right? And so
feels like Green Goblin in a sense, where it's like, eventually they will hate you. What they have to see more is to see a hero rise, is to see a hero fall.
There you go.
Hail. You can rule this city, Spider-Man, or we can just fight to the death. Oh man,
fight each other again and again and again until we're both dead.
I know. It's not the line in the movie, but I wish it was. But so yeah, that was the other thing that I really liked. And now that the good stuff's out of the way, the two things that I don't like.
All right. Gut punch me. Here we go.
First thing, the entire story doesn't need to exist. I hate every single line of dialogue that's written. I would rather much you write Star Sword 2. Give up on your. No.
Wow, go for the throat. Why don't you?
What else? I'm an agent of chaos. What can I say? No, but in all seriousness, the first thing.
Joke?
Oh no, my life is completely a joke. Yes. I was about to say that. Yeah, you can. Yeah, no, I have basically accepted that my life will be a joke. But anyways, so the first thing that I didn't like, and this isn't inherently your fault because I didn't like this in the anime either. Hold on, give me one moment.
Yeah.
Good.
He has such a strong opinion about this that he needs to double check it.
No, sorry. I had to go and tell one of my family something.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, this isn't your fault, but I really didn't. Well, I mean, it kind of is your fault, but I really didn't like how the entire like class 1A versus 1B, and I have two reasons for that. One, even in the anime, it felt like 10 episodes of filler. Like when they did those massive like multi-episode fight scenes, it was like there was the USJ incident, or even the forest villain attack incident. It felt like it had meaning, whereas here it was like it wasn't even like 3 episodes of just like, okay, let's show everyone. It was like 10 episodes, and it's not inherently your fault, but it also felt like it went a bit too long in the story as well.
Well, there's a reason that I didn't rewrite all the scenes that basically already happened. Like
I know, and I respect that.
I could have gotten away with it because of like how events have changed. Like it could have caused them to reflect on events differently. But of course. It didn't need to happen. So I tried to keep that one as brief as I could.
Yeah.
No, and I get that.
Too, dude. Like, because oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, real quick.
No, I totally agree, because I think I want to get to the meat of the story, and I want to know what happens next. I'm impatient, but it's like, no, why are you slowing down and doing all this character development for all these people I don't care about?
Yeah, exactly.
But
we had to throw Shinso. We had to get Shinso in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like Shinso, but at what cost? At what cost? But getting more deep into like that specific area of the chapter, I mentioned this in one of my reviews, and I know that you cover it, and you gave a valid reason for it, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't sit well with me that you gave like an entire 2 pages of like Karai having a flashback to like when somebody insulted his friends, he like beat the crap out of them. And then you even like end that flashback by saying everyone knows what happens when you mess with Karai's friends or something like that. And then you have Monoma go down that exact same pathway, and not only like they're not taking the next chapter into account where he actually fights Monoma, just that one chapter.
Yeah.
Not only does he not really react all that much, but it's Izuku who kind of like is set off by it. And on the one hand, you explain why they're really good friends at that point, but and it was a good. Admittedly, it was a good way to unlock his quirk, but it still feels to me like it goes against the idea of Chekhov's gun. In my like, if you set something up, then it has to be some kind of pay. It just felt like the wrong kind of pay. And I remember you mentioning that and giving your reasoning for why that is.
Yeah.
And I still understand that, but it for me personally just still doesn't. It still just doesn't sit as well with me.
Again, I can understand that. I'll say like there were 2 reasons. I think part of the issue is that I risked redundancy in trying to set up an expectation and then undercutting it. I was kind of trying to see if I could do that same thing under different circumstances, and it was also meant to be kind of as a mark as to how Kurai has grown. Ever since that happened. I
mean, that's what I remember you mentioned, and that's fine. It just felt like I don't know. It felt like the wrong kind of build up. Like there's undercutting and then there's misleading. It's kind
Okay,
of like
alright.
kind of like some of the problems of like The Last Jedi. Like I love The Last Jedi,
Yeah.
but it could have handled undercutting expectations. Like you have like the bad kind, which is Last Jedi, then the good kind, which is like a Knives Out, which it undercut expectations phenomenally in there. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing that I really didn't like. The other thing that I don't really hate it per se, it was just kind of not that great for me. Was I think it was like a part of it was Class A versus Energon. And
yeah.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of flack for that.
yeah, no, see, and it's if anything, it's a very good mini chapter arc for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah.
But for what I don't even know like how to phrase this. It just felt like
I think it wasn't you, but I think somebody else said that the arc was a little self-indulgent.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
okay. Because it even felt like literally the entirety of Class 1A is trying to subdue the main character, which I don't have an inherent problem with because you haven't gone out of your way to make them like a Gary Stu character, which I do genuinely enjoy. But at the same time, it does feel kind of like if there is one person, it is this guy that's gonna. And you even like briefly mentioned that in like the new chapter where the Mario's like, "Oh hey, we have this cool new hero. He's the best one," and he's like, "No, it's everyone else." And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, everyone else is good." But then like you had this other chapter where it's not bad per se. In fact, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah.
I just have to give something to criticize
No,
because
fair enough.
I feel
very
bad
you
saying.
do raise good
No,
points.
don't feel bad because, like, well, I mean, that's the thing. In writing, you have to know, not necessarily. Oh, sorry, my phone's ringing. Not necessarily, what is Deadwood, because it's still solid, but it's like this could
Best
have
character.
been like a bonus chapter later on to like give as a freebie, like because it doesn't necessarily, it kind of pushes the story forward, but it's not necessarily relevant.
I feel like you
Yeah.
should have separated it out, kind of like you did, like the death battle thing between your two Matarases. You should have just like,
I remember.
you should
Right,
have
yeah.
like, if you just want him to like fight people for the to fight people, then you should have just made it a separate thing or like a
Okay.
bonus.
Yeah.
All right.
One last thing I will end on. Because I feel like I've been talking way too much and I should probably let other people talk, like Amira and Robin and Joe. But I fully expect, upon Karai's inevitable death, for the villainous Deadwood to make his villainous debut by as soon as he dies, it's like, man, that's rough, buddy, or some other kind of like
yeah.
Deadwood.
He'll-
I fully expect him to have some kind of debut.
It may
And
not
if I
be in the
don't
way that
see
you're
the villain
expecting.
Deadwood, I am unsubscribing. I am unfollowing you. I am not going to read any more of your stuff.
Okay,
Oh my
so,
gosh.
Just saying.
To put your worries to rest, he will appear, just not quite in the way you might be expecting it. Just I'll put that out there.
Okay.
Just so we're clear, as long as he appears and does his thing, you're good, right?
Oh yeah, of course, most
Okay, all right, cool. Then we're good.
I don't know who this Deadwood is, but
It's
it
a
sounds
character
like
that-
rabbits.
It's a character we invented in chat. It's like server canon.
Server Ken.
Oh no, it's too much.
Where
Wait,
it's
Amira, were you here for Deadwood?
for
I think I was there for like a bit of it. I did not see enough though, so I just completely like missed.
Basically,
if you search back for Deadwood in chat, you'll see it. But
Yeah, I'm doing that
basically, it's like it's a character that shows up, and he's just like a random character / hero who shows up, has no
Villain.
special powers, and interrupts a really random moment.
Oh my
and
a really
God.
sad
Just
scene.
in
If
time.
it's like a really heartfelt scene or anything like
It's
that,
like- it's
Deadwood
like,
will
you know,
show up.
It's like you've got like the Hallmark, like, kissing in the rain kind of scene, and then all of a sudden, like, Deadwood's there, like, hey, good work, guys, and then he just leaves. And like, that's it.
You have like some super important hero like cut in half, and like
Yeah.
everyone's sad, like they're having like a soliloquy or something like that, and then he shows up and he's like,
Hey,
I guess you could say
didn't make
he's
the cut.
half the man he once was.
Okay, so his quirk is ruining the good moments.
Oh,
Got it.
God.
Yeah,
Okay.
he just
That's his-
ruins
that's
all
his
the good
shtick.
moments.
Yeah, okay.
He's like
Okay,
he's like Deadpool's annoying, but like no usefulness.
Less ambitious cousin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deadpool's ambitious cousin. That's what we
Yeah.
called him.
Less ambitious.
So I've talked for far too long. I'm gonna let everyone else talk now. Because
Yeah, I want to actually hop on that part where you were talking about the Class A versus Kurai thing, because I felt like even though it was a cool mini arc and everything, the reasoning why it happened felt a little bit, now that I've thought about it a little bit more, a little bit of character assassination for the teachers and the faculty of the school. Just a little bit. Because, you know, it was...
I'm not familiar with that term, honestly. Can you explain character assassination to me?
Can we look it up?
Like them, like, are you talking about them discrediting him, or am I discrediting them through the story?
You discrediting them through the story.
Yeah, like I'm looking up on Google, and it's defined by Google as the malicious and unjustified harming of a person's good reputation.
Okay.
Yeah, because it felt like the way they treated Kurai just felt a little bit unjustified in terms of they should
so powerful. He could turn evil.
I mean,
let's give him therapy instead of like giving him more trauma, guys.
Exactly. Yeah, this was not the best way they should have gone about it, even though it was really cool.
That here's my justification for it: is I wanted to show that the heroes they make mistakes too. That was one of the main things. That was one of the main things I wanted to get across, and I they have good cause to be concerned. Like, he's been under an unbelievable amount of psychological trauma in the last year, and he's a walking nuke. They just watched him let off an explosion that would have leveled an entire freaking city if he had not been way up in the sky.
In a way, though, that's why you have accountability, and so it's a little unrealistic that big of a group of faculty would agree on something like that.
Well, they didn't agree. They didn't agree on it. That's what.
Yeah, they didn't. They all
didn't agree on that. Some of them were like, "We shouldn't have done that," and others were like, "Why are we even having this discussion?"
It's not like they're the Jedi and they suck or anything like that, because the Jedi Council. Side note: I'm not trying to derail the conversation, but I'm just saying the Jedi Council sucks, and I will argue.
Okay, we don't need to go on a Star Wars tangent.
No, but that's the thing. Like, you can, when you're reading something, you can tell what the writer's influences are, and you can see that, even if it was unintentional, Joe had, as the massive Star Wars nerd he is, he's writing this, and suddenly the people in authority are flawed, and we're kind of questioning them, right? And and I think that's kind of a theme in a lot of his stories, is just right and wrong and who's in authority, right?
I ain't gonna be part of your system, man. Anyways, I'm sorry. All right.
You're good.
Yeah.
And I'm over here rereading the Silmarillion, trying to reread it for the 5th time. So I'm just looking at all of these influences of Nordic literature and other Anyway, so that's on the brain right now. I'm like, well, you can
that's fair.
Really see the influences, even if of what somebody has written, just because it's just interesting reading that after reading a documentation of an audio recording, which was literally Lewis and Tolkien just talking and criticizing movies and books they'd recently
They were
read.
doing podcasts before podcasts were a thing.
And so it's
of course,
I read that paper. It wasn't a paper. It was like I said, it was a dialogue of a recorded conversation, and they're literally like, "Oh, here's the ashtray, buddy. Oh, you need a drink?" So it's like, just reading that and then going back and reading the Silmarillion. It's like, oh man, I see the influences of these discussions with his friends and the other types of media that he's taking in as he's writing this. So that's a valid point. Sorry, that was a really roundabout way of explaining that.
No, of course, yeah.
All right.
So
let's see, Joe. Did you have a favorite moment you wanted to add, or you got another one to kick my teeth in?
Oh no more to kick your teeth in.
Okay,
but
right, cool.
I'll kick your teeth in.
Good things I want to.
So mean to you.
Some good things I want to say though.
Giving him constructive criticism. He's just suffering over
I'm
here.
being facetious.
Yeah, some of the good things I want to say, the addition of adding Team Ruby, that was a very questionable kind of thing to do, but I really like what you're doing with them. It's really cool.
Yeah.
How they're interacting with everybody else, and the way you're kind of integrating the Remnant lore into the My Hero world is very interesting.
Yeah.
So Yeah,
there's
and
gonna
then
be more of that in the next arc.
I'm happy about that. I'm
Yeah.
happy you're doing more of that. That's so cool.
I've said it before. Like, I definitely questioned him bringing the Ruby characters in, but kind of in retrospect, it makes sense because there's only so much about, like, because the characters in My Hero are awesome, but there's only so much background information we have on them that we can really flesh them out, and so it's nice to be able to have characters who we know from another universe that we can really continue to flesh out and
I never thought about it like that.
unintentionally go against canon, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Sorry.
Sorry?
No, you're good.
Oh. I was like, what did I say this time?
No, I think that was all I had to say, because it's like, I think that's the hard, I've never actually written my own fan fiction. I just kind of watch on the sidelines and annoy criticism. I don't know. But
No, that's
You should
valid,
try
yeah.
it then.
no, I'm
Maybe.
lazy. Anyway,
Oh, no.
That's what she has me for.
I just tell him what I think, and then sometimes he takes my ideas. But I think that's the scariest thing for me, if I were to write it, though, is how do I move this story forward without accidentally going against something canon that I really like later on down the line, right?
That is
And
so hard,
there's these characters that I love, and I love the way they're being written, and I don't want to project my own ideas on them, because I want to know how the author is going to flesh out these characters. So
It's funny you mentioned that. It's funny you mentioned guys that there, because that kind of thing actually happened in another fanfiction story that I was reading like a couple of years ago. So it's an Ace Attorney fanfiction.
Oh, nice.
And
It's
the way,
fun.
yeah, and the way the author wrote Larry Butts was, yes, that's his name.
Yes.
Anyway, the way they wrote him was really cool. She really built him up as kind of later on down the story because kind of an upstanding guy, which is not really but then really not really upstanding guy. Then Spirit of Justice's DLC came out and completely threw a wrench into her plans. So yeah, because if you've played that game and you know that DLC, you know that they didn't do justice to that. So
Never played
Yeah.
the Ace
The
Attorney
Spirit of
game, just know a
Justice.
few references, but no. So like talking about like imposing your own opinions on a character, like the most recent example I can think of is how I wrote Midnight in the meeting about whether or not Kurai is dangerous, because I don't like her character. I don't.
Really?
But from what I know of her, like she seems like the kind who would be like, no, he's a good student. He doesn't deserve this. Like, why are we even talking about this? So I wrote her accordingly.
Yeah, and I was very small note, but like I was mentioning vigilantes earlier, and that kind of is her character in that. Like she's obviously like still like midnight persona, but they do portray her in that like in her school years and even like in her hero years that she's like a lot more protective of people in general. Like she's more than just. She's actually like a really good character if you read Vigilantes.
Okay. Cool.
would you say that Mataras' depiction of her matches the Vigilantes' depiction?
I would say yeah, because without going into spoilers, something happens in like the later chapters of Vigilantes where a lot of the big crap is going down, and she holds her ground pretty well. So ironic. I don't know if you intend this or not, but like you.
I
Even
haven't
going, like,
I haven't
within the
really read
canon.
anything from Vigilantes, so everything that I wrote about her in that situation was just gut instinct.
No, it was really that's another thing I like. Just so
Good.
you do actually do midnight. You unintentionally make Midnight really close to her character in the overarching canon.
Cool.
So
That's
Cool.
good. Yeah, see, and he's, because of that fear, I feel like he is extra careful about that, and it drives me crazy, because, like, you guys know he has his kind of ultimate structure of where things are up until, like, the current point in the story, and I get so frustrated because I'm still behind on the current show, because, he's like, no, I'm still working on the structure, and I'm not that far yet, I have to catch up before we watch the next episode, and I get so angry.
oh,
That's so
I can
mean.
imagine.
It's so good, and you're keeping her back.
I still need to catch. I haven't even
I don't
started
have to
season
defend
6 yet.
myself from this.
Yes, you do.
And I respect that
The
he
new
has that-
season's so good.
he has
haven't even
that
started
level
it
of
yet.
self-control.
I'm
It's
only in the middle of it.
fantastic.
Yeah,
It's
we've
fantastic.
seen a few episodes from the new season, and it's fantastic
It's really good.
so far.
Yeah, no,
but
I-
it's like I respect that he has that kind of self control, that he's gonna like let himself catch up before he watches anything else. But it's also incredibly frustrating.
Well, I
Watch
can
without
imagine.
him.
I can imagine.
We don't need him.
What did you? What? We don't need him.
We don't need the author of this story.
The problem is, I get ahead of him, and then he gets petty, and then he watches it without me. So I'm not gonna do that again, because I did that with Fairy Tale. I made the mistake of getting ahead of him at one point, and then he just like binged through all of it without me, and I was like, wow, okay.
Fairy Tale's like
Baby refuses
500
to watch
episodes, isn't it?
Fairy Tale is 270 something episodes, if I'm not
Okay,
mistaken.
so still pretty long. I still need to watch that as well on my watch list.
It's a train wreck, but I love it.
I've heard. My
What's
older
a
brother
watch?
loves the heck out of it. He cosplayed Natsu a couple of times, but
Oh,
that's
but
cool.
anyways, I want to read derail this again,
Sorry.
as I do in this
I'm good
conversation.
at starting those.
All right. Back on track. Amira, favorite / most disappointing moments of the last year or so.
Kick his teeth in.
Hello.
She was muted, so she might have.
Yeah,
to-
is your mic good? Can you hear us?
Well,
Okay.
okay.
There we go.
Oh yeah, no, we have
Yeah,
to
Yeah,
hear you
there we
now.
go. Okay,
Hello.
first of all, I won't kick his teeth in because I can't agree with Robin. Also, you guys have been mean.
What's that?
Boo!
I won't kick his teeth in. No. I won't kick his teeth in. That's it.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that's a shame.
Least favorite thing.
Whoa.
Or favorite
Okay.
thing.
Least favorite. I think there was one. Okay, I will have to. Okay, give me a sec. I've had the entire time to. Oh, I think one thing that I found a bit questionable was like. Okay, basically just we've been beating up Kurai for so long, and I feel like, especially with like him defeating the extra Nomu, just all the traumatic events are sort of building up, like leads to me being surprised that he hasn't broken yet. Like we've seen that he's gone through numerous breakdowns, but I'm surprised that he's managed to pull through this well. I think I don't know. It's maybe just looking at this from a mindset of his age.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
it's a little bit unrealistic, maybe. But I think it's probably the
Love that
past
going
events
through.
the past events that have made him so strong now. Like I'm just saying, like maybe if it's someone from this generation,
It's
they would die
interesting that you
instantly,
say
so.
that, and I would just keep that thought in mind moving forward in this
Yeah.
next arc.
That is very interesting. Also, there's like one line in like the aftermath of the Izuku Bakugo fight where like All Might tells the Bakugo, like, I keep forgetting that you all are just children. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah.
And like
It
we're
is
here
true,
like,
they are.
yeah, I'm like, dang, that's right.
I'd say, building off of Amira's point here, that everything that he's gone through, I don't feel has adequately affected him mentally. I think especially looking at stuff like losing an arm and having his father die and be unveiled as working with All for One, just like having a parental figure, you think you know them their whole life and you look up to them your whole life, and then suddenly your opinion of them has to be flipped upside down because they've done something
Yeah.
it's a lot to take in, and it's a lot to handle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I can see
I
that.
speak from personal experience,
Yeah.
to where just taking the person you hold in like the highest regard, and just having them now you're afraid to hold them in high regard for that.
Yeah.
It's a lot,
Yeah.
and it really affects you mentally and it hurts you. And then the same with losing an arm, it's part of you, and just being able to throw on a prosthetic and all of a sudden everything's okay I know it's not all okay, but I just feel like there's so much he's gone through mentally, and then I feel like not enough has been worked off of, to where there's a lot of stuff that all the things that you show him for like a chapter or two,
Yeah.
being affected by it,
Mhm.
but then it just kind of moves on. Like it doesn't come back nearly as much as I feel like it should.
I have to say, I think something that I forget a lot with the story is what a short period of time has gone by. It's actually
Yeah.
been a really short period of time that all of this has happened. And
1 year.
something,
Yeah.
and I think something that happens often with trauma is when someone goes through a really insane amount of trauma in a short period of time, their brain just kind of checks out and doesn't have the energy to process it. And what I would say is wait for things to slow down and then see what happens, because just also
That trauma is definitely
yeah.
still there.
And he hasn't dealt with it adequately, like you said, and it's going to build up and it's going to add pressure, and it's just a matter of when will he reach that breaking point. So no, I definitely see where you guys are getting at, and I think I had a similar thought as well, but I forget this isn't like years and years, which it feels like years and years because we've been reading it for almost 3 years. But I think I would chalk it up to one of those things where when someone has had so much insanity happening and there's like no reprieve from it almost.
Yeah.
They don't even have the time to process. And I've definitely experienced that where even especially as children, I went through a lot as a child and a teenager, and I did not even start to process it until the last couple of years because my life settled down, right? And it was like almost more traumatizing to process it after the fact because my brain suddenly had the energy to go through and like rest and like reflect on these things and how they affected me. And so I think that and everybody's brain is different, everyone handles trauma differently, but that's why we get a lot of people who have like repressed memories and things like that, because it's just the brain's way of handling things and not completely caving in times of like high stress, right? And
Kuroi has this attitude of he doesn't he like when it comes to traumatic stuff, he kind of has this attitude of like, I either let this break me or I move on from it.
And the problem is he's not actually sitting there and unpacking it. He's just moving forward because that's all he knows how to do right now.
I can get behind that. I just feel like we need to see a little bit more external damage. I think
We probably will. I mean, he's
Stuff
gonna
like obviously stuff's gonna collapse, but I feel like we just need to see a bit more fraying at the edges.
That's
I
what
think.
the audience is looking for. Yeah.
still
And it
praying
makes
that he
sense.
freaking dies soon.
And
So that's just me.
and so with
how
that
Mira
and
just laughs every time we mention him dying.
I don't know. It's been so long, and I'm like, is he going to just
Exactly.
skip
That's what I was
over?
saying. Yeah.
so actually my next point is building off of the length of the story here. Is with both his mental health, and one thing I had going through it was going so long before finding out that his quirk was given to him and wasn't born with it. Because I was going for so long. Honestly, I still think this, but Kurai's kind of really freaking overpowered. And going so long, just being like, oh, he just has these powers. I could see like new readers just deciding to drop off and seeing that he's like, oh, he's just gonna get more powers, and then we're gonna use Akurui Ex Machina, and he'll handle the weaknesses. And
See, my counter to that is that I nixed the Akurui Ex Machina. Like I basically almost killed him.
Yeah, you almost
So
killed him, but
he
he's
can't
still
do that
solving
again.
problems.
It's not a get out of jail free card. It's like he could only do it the one time. He's not going to do that again.
But it is one get out of jail free card.
Okay.
I mean, like, he's still coming up with solutions to Kurai's problems,
It's
still, and
very,
his weaknesses.
It's very
And-
Natsu gets rid of the brain tumor suddenly, kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
Okay.
his brain might explode. Oh, well, we fixed that quick. Oh, his arm came off. Well, we got a cooler arm all ready to go. And and then Akaru is still around, kind of like using his brain and providing problems to solve, which I feel more better about now, knowing that he's got like this combination of quirks in his body, but it took a long time to get to that point.
Yeah.
where
I can see that.
getting
I
up to
did-
that point,
if I
some
had
readers.
just revealed
Let me
that-
finish. And it could take a long time to get up to that point, and people just kind of, I could see readers getting frustrated and just deciding to drop off, thinking, "Oh, he's just an overpowered fan fiction character," and he's like, because I think kind of my rule of thumb for the fan fiction characters is if you can do the Sword Art Online abridged Kirito Heathcliff
Oh
thing
my God.
to him, if you can do like my name's Kaba Akihiko and I've got an invincible shield with does infinity +2 damage and it's kind of like
And Wolverine
Okay.
cards and crap.
it's kind of like, oh, my name's Hikarakura and I'm like a combination of Goku and All Might and Naruto and I can like shoot laser beams and it's like I have like super freaking strong and All Might I have like this really cool metal arm and it can like it's like stronger than All Might's and he
Oh
can
my
like no one
God.
can break it.
Okay.
It's like Wolverine claw and like it's like so
I got a
strong
lightsaber
and
that I
like.
can force back.
And I have
with
a
magnetism.
lightsaber, and I have like a freaking lightsaber, and like it could just like slice through anything, and I'm so
Can you
awesome
go get
and
some ice? I
cool.
need it for these burns.
Mataras,
We're having a Mataras
Mataras,
roast
I
fest.
beg you, please put that Karai monologue in like the inevitable fight with 9. I beg you. I implore you. It needs to be said, dang it.
Oh, that was beautiful. That needs to be
was
just
good. Well
a
done.
clip that is.
Somebody, I'll try to go through like this entire recorded thing and try to. I mean, I
Just
presume
clip
it's being recorded. So.
Mm.
Oh my god.
That was beautiful.
I mean, back on track. Last Robin does have like a point. Like I enjoy the story because I know that you always like have some kind of plan in the works, but
Mm.
I do kind of see how that would be kind of a turnoff for new
Yeah.
new readers.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
But-
I mean, what
yeah.
makes the story, it's the whole Superman conundrum. What makes the story interesting is the hero's weaknesses. That's why My Hero is so intriguing to people, is we have this main character who has no power to begin with. And then when he has it, he doesn't know how to use it. And so he's got that weakness, because when the hero is unstoppable, what's so interesting, right? It's the whole like nobody liked Superman after a while because he could do anything. So I mean, he could just rewind time by flying backward around the planet, because that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
they had to come up with kryptonite and magic, otherwise no one was going to care about Superman anymore.
Yeah, no, of course.
There's, every story, you have to have, there's no story without a certain level of darkness, and that has to be overcome. And so that
It
makes
becomes
sense.
more of a question of like, is he doing the right thing than how he's
Yes.
gonna win.
Should he do it's should he do it, not how is he going to do it. And it's more a question of ethics and what you believe and how you're making that decision, which is something that I think he's kind of exploring right now. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, hoping he dies soon so that we can finally vote him off the island. Death.
Okay. Does anybody have any
I'm just
favorite moments they
giggling
want to
over
throw in
here.
here?
I think they're my
Now
favorite
pride's
moments.
been wrecked.
I personally, I'm always a fan of whenever you put him in a I like the situations you write where it's not been part of like the anime or manga, and it's like not something that Deku did, but now Karai's there.
Yeah.
Like I think one of my personal standouts was like when he did the work study with Gang Orca. That was really different, and I like that. And it kind of let me kind of like put Karai in his own perspective a lot more, rather than just like.
And that was the idea. That was the idea for that story.
Yeah.
Story.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I already gave all my favorite moments for the most part, and I probably have like a lot more favorite moments, but there's just 73 freaking chapters.
Joe's got one.
Yeah, the conversation with All for One.
Oh yeah, that was a really
that
good
was
one.
sweet. Well done.
Yeah, no, that was a good one.
That was like so well thought out. It revealed like so many answers to so many questions we had, as well as proposing new questions like what it like. So Kurai's the first Nomu basically, and like wait, hold on, what does that mean going forward? And I was like, wow.
Yes, and then you guys found like the whole basis of what prompted him to write the story in the first place. What if something created for evil didn't want to be evil?
Yeah.
Basically, just Starkiller from Force Unleashed.
Or
I
basically
haven't
Shadow's
thought
dead.
about it that way, but I guess you could say that.
Yeah,
Well,
you
he
know,
wasn't created for evil. He just raised evil.
We also know that this one is a massive Shadow the Hedgehog fan. So.
Oh yeah,
Shadow wasn't made to be evil.
Okay.
he was made to
Nice.
be a cure to a specific genetic disease. Yeah.
Yeah, but then Black Doom.
Yep.
Also, just one last side note. I promise I'm not trying to derail
No,
everything.
you're fine.
But like in the Vigilantes manga, in, like issue 12, I think it is. There is like, I think I posted this like with spoiler tags like a few months ago in the Discord. But basically, it's like this one scene with All for One before like All Might completely decimates him, and it's actually a really interesting character analysis and like his own thought process. And I'm not going to spoil it because it's really good, but it's literally like his entire thought about like all like not like hero society as a whole and specifically All Might himself. So I thought that was really interesting. So like even like with that in context, I really like the conversation between Karai and All for One.
Nice.
If you guys want me, I can share it under spoiler tags again because I feel like it is genuinely a really interesting conversation.
Go for it. I know that this one just ran to the bathroom, but
All right,
he's.
I'll go
not
ahead
there.
and
Those
I'll go
are-
ahead and and see if I can find the photos and spoiler tag him.
That being
Okay.
said, looking.
Oh my
at
gosh,
his-
what?
Oh, go ahead.
Mataras' teeth? What?
Sorry.
Amira!
He's grinding them
sorry.
over here. He's just being beaten. His ego, at least.
We're counting them.
It's good
They're
for
just
him.
gathering now.
Well, you guys
One
were so
does.
nice to him on the
Yeah.
on the comments. He can take it. Constructive criticism is good.
See, I don't like to be just like, this is a good story. Like, even with my own stories, I'm like, please, give me something that I can be better at.
Yes,
Because, like,
exactly.
I
And that's
don't
the
just
whole point
want
of this.
endless praise. Yeah.
That is the whole point of this, and you know, he needs it.
Yeah, no, of
we
course.
all need it
Of course.
at some point, in some ways. Can't just surround yourself by yes men, right? You're never gonna get better. Okay, so let's see. I'm looking at his notes. How did you find the story? Favorite, worst part? Biggest surprises? I'm gonna kind of lump these two together since we've gone for a really long time.
Yeah, no, of course.
That's fine.
So
Yeah, I think
Let's see.
I think the conversation was one of like the biggest surprises we've
that
seen.
conversation
You know,
was, yeah. Does anyone have any other big surprises? And I'll get out of his annoyingly noisy chair over here.
That was a
Cheers.
big
Thank you
surprise.
very
Let me
much.
look at the chapters again. Again, I have to. I was creative. Oh my god.
You're too quick with these. Oh my
I guess one surprise for me at the time, like aside from like the entire All for One thing, that's arguably the biggest thing, was right after the Island arc when he got control of his quirk, when it was revealed, oh yeah, he has like 7 other quirks, and I'm gonna be honest. See, for me,
It's not 7 other quirks, it's different outputs of the same ability.
Oh, he's
Yeah, but
back.
it feels like
let me-
7 other quirks.
Let me rephrase
Alright.
this. Let me rephrase this.
It does feel that way.
It does genuinely feel like I'm gonna follow this under like constructive criticism because I can do that.
Yeah.
But like you explained in the All for One conversation that it was a combination of like 3 quirks, was it? Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3
And
quirks,
so-
3 quirks became 1.
Yeah.
Whereas
and
beforehand, there had only been records of 2 quirks becoming 1. Like, there's been people with multiple quirks in one body, but they usually don't combine. One for All is an exception to this. Energon
Yeah.
or Enika, whatever you want to call it, is
Yeah.
the first one where it's 3 became 1.
Yeah, no, but the surprise for me was when it was revealed, yeah, that he can't. You say it's separate outputs of his power, but it doesn't feel like that in my
Yeah.
personal. Like it feels like it was really surprising to me. It was like, wait, he has more powers. He has like what was it? Super sense, spider sense, super speed, invincible
Super Saiyan, and I've got Super Spider
invincible
Sense.
shield, and so it was a surprise to me that he could like. On the one hand, it is genuinely like really cool to see him like gradually unlock these like a la Avatar in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's still like that's a surprise. But I'm also gonna file that under
from 3
criticism.
quirks to suddenly 20 million different powers. Yeah.
How are you doing that so fast?
because he's the meme lord.
Yeah,
But-
he is.
But yeah, no. So I will say that like not only was that a surprise, but it's also I'm gonna follow it on, like there's nothing inherently wrong with it. I see how you're doing it, but it is still like based on the rules of My Hero Academia as we know them, it still feels kind of weird. Because we see different quirks from One for All specifically, but we don't see like different outputs of like the base superpower.
Here's an example that I'll use to counter that is what's the teacher's name who can use ectoplasm, right? He spits out a bunch of clones, right?
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, he spits out this giant replica. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's right. Okay.
That's
fair.
Different application. That's my counter argument.
No,
Okay.
that's fair.
but the thing is that a lot of Karai's different abilities are all kind of like super different in a way. Like making one bigger clone versus like a bunch of smaller clones. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
But like first he starts with laser beams, and then all of a sudden he can go Super Saiyan, and then he can do Rasengans, and
The Rasengan is him being a nerd and training really hard.
I know.
You
get the point, and then he can like the giving energy and all the other stuff, and
that one was different.
Oh, by the way, just because basically I was talking earlier about like your conversation with like Karai and All for One. This is like a conversation that All for One has like in the Vigilantes manga. That's really
I'm gonna pass over looking on that for now. Then
I just wanted to put those down because I thought it was like a really interesting case study to him. Just on top of that, but I decided to put them in there
for that for that conversation. I mostly went back and looked at how he interacted with All Might when he went to visit him in prison.
Yeah, no, but like if you're interested in all and you don't care about Vigilante spoilers, then this is actually a really, really eye-opening conversation that he has.
Okay.
I will absolutely.
All right, but anyways, I'm sorry. I just wanted to post that real quick.
No worries.
I just remembered who was created for evil and decided he didn't want to be evil. Stitch.
Oh. That's true.
Oh.
That was really good.
Gotta love Stitch. Gotta love Stitch.
Yeah.
Oh my
god.
god.
Wow. That's enough.
I approve.
We're just going for the jugular, aren't we?
Oh yeah, you are.
Oh man, that's beautiful. All right, sorry, where were we?
Let's see. We were talking about biggest surprises for everybody. I don't know how many people answered that.
Yeah, and I was talking about like the Energon thing. So,
yeah.
Got it.
So I think we're moved on from that. If anyone else has anything else to say.
No, I already said that it was basically the All for One conversation. So yeah.
Okay.
All right, and then the last couple things.
So what? I don't know if we've technically covered this one or not, but like, what keeps you? Is it just the fact that I'm writing this story that keeps you guys coming back, or is there something else? For Silver, I know it's him. For Silver, I know it's him just waiting for Kurai to die.
Yeah.
No, there's that as well, but admittedly, there have been like I don't know why, but like the last month, my email notifications were turned off, so I didn't know the story was updating for some reason. Oh my gosh!
Stop!
Robin, please.
I love it.
But
the roast is real.
Yeah. Welcome to the Roast Podcast, where we completely roast Mataras and his story.
Mataras has no more teeth left, guys.
One reason I keep coming back to the story is because one reason is admittedly because I just really want to read your stuff and support you because like I really like your stuff.
Much appreciated.
Like almost I hesitate to say brand loyalty, but that's kind of how it feels like almost in a sense. But I do genuinely also enjoy like your different take of like the heroes and villains, and especially with like Karai and All for One, and just seeing I don't know, maybe it's just because I like seeing all the different kind of personalities.
Yeah.
Except for when it's boring, like when like it's like 3 episodes of like Class 1A versus 1B.
And there it is.
We had it coming.
There it is.
But yeah, no, in all seriousness, that's kind of like that. I mean, I still keep it a story because it's still very interesting, even though it's like 73 chapters in and no main character death. I know, it's a shame. But that's my reasoning, anyways.
Y'all are bloodthirsty psychopaths.
We're getting closer, my friends.
You just figured that out after like 5 years of knowing me. Okay, well, anyways, does anyone else have anything else to add?
Well,
that's it.
Cool.
I just keep going.
Hang on, Joe Club's trying to say something.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I just keep coming back because I just like how like your writing style. I just like reading you basically. So yeah, while Silver's waiting on Star Sword, I'm still kind of waiting on Legacy of Korra, Saiyan Tail, and those kinds of stories too, as well. But yeah. Anyway, but yeah,
Legacy of
Your Hero
Korra
Academia has
Legacy
been really
of Korra I'll
good.
definitely get back to, as well as the Red Swordsman story. The other ones, it's a little bit up for debate.
I mean, I don't know. Does it feel like Saiyan Tail's been run into the ground? I don't know.
Kind of.
Because it's not done.
It's not done. I'm gonna do my best to try and get back to that one and finish it, but I'm just not feeling it right now.
No, that's
We have,
totally
to
fair.
get, we have to get him into 100 Years Quest and Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest, and then maybe he'll be inspired.
You know, is that thing started already? Because I haven't seen anything about
Robin,
that.
oh my god.
So many memes.
I think that's my favorite.
What is it this time?
That works.
That yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I don't always defend him.
No, she
got
jumps on with
nothing.
you guys. She jumps on with you guys like just as much sometimes.
Yeah.
I like that it's even Kevin Hart.
Daniel messed up the Sonic
Excuse me.
movie. Okay,
Okay,
I'm coming.
hang on.
I'm coming. Okay, you
We're
guys
having
can keep
technical
talking.
difficulties with our children. Give us a minute.
Gotta fix the Sonic movie.
Yeah. Well, they're
Oh, is it the first and the second
I
one?
set Sonic X to play on my laptop for them so we could do
Nice.
this.
Oh, Sonic X.
okay.
Oh, which
Good
season?
show.
Season 3, the best one.
Oh,
Is
yes,
that the one
Mataras.
where-
Was
Never
that?
mind. No, never mind.
Okay.
Excuse me.
I said the Metarex. So
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright.
Dude, those were great.
Mm-hmm. They kind of really ruined the episode that was focused on Shadow, though. Like,
Yeah.
That's up for debate.
Do we have any last points or any other points that you wanted to go over at all before?
Let's see.
Dang, there's something stuck in my throat.
We've kind of already gone over things that you guys would change. So let's just go with projections or theories for the coming year.
really?
Um,
Okay.
He's gonna die.
Well, yeah, no,
Die.
yeah. I predict he's gonna die.
Whoa,
But
where
in
did
the
I come
coming
from?
year?
Yeah.
In the coming year.
Yeah.
Please.
2023.
I would say if he doesn't die this year, then you are
Optimistic.
seriously taking this story too long.
Because
Yeah.
he's running out of canon material. He has to get the death.
Yeah, he has to. Wait, where's me? Where am I in this?
Oh,
Yeah,
I haven't
but
read. I haven't read.
I do
the
have one
manga, so I
prediction.
don't know how far
What's that?
it is.
What's that?
My prediction that I want to say, mainly because you've been setting up like how much time you've been setting up like with Kurai and like him like talking to all of his friends and family, and then going off to Naboo Island. I predict that the Naboo Island, whether his encounter with Nine or anything like that, is going to cause his inevitable death. Like it's
So you
going. My prediction is that on Naboo Island, in some form or fashion, he is going to die. Or, or maybe it's just because I feel like the story's been going really long, and I feel like I don't know where he's supposed to die. I don't. But Naboo Island would be a really. It'll be fitting. Like he's gotten all of his stuff like either done or almost done to the point where like he just needs to take one more step, and then he'll like achieve everything that he wants. So like he has a girlfriend, he can be married. He made amends with his mom. He made amends with his cousins.
Yeah.
It would feel more satisfying in that
Okay.
sense. Like he's like, okay, I'm going off, I'm gonna come back, and then we can do really cool stuff together. Bye. And next thing you know, freaking Nine over here with, you know what? Nine has 9 quirks. Kurai has 7 quirks. Just call Kurai 7.
Yeah.
I feel like
That
yeah,
is
but
not how
anyways,
this works.
I feel like I feel like, but you know, my prediction is that in some form or fashion, whether it be by Nine's hand or by anything else, accidentally or intentionally, he is going to die on Naboo. That's my prediction.
All right.
I feel like the only problem with that theory is that he wrote a letter and an email prior to actually dying. So I feel like him suddenly dying and saying he'd come back, like you can't really set that up.
I mean, yeah, but like at the same time, it's like, okay, here's the thing about the League of Villains. Here's information that will help lead to their
that's true.
capture, and he's been like essentially following that for a long time. And granted, there are some things that he doesn't or does know about. But again, maybe like he'll come across some information on Naboo. Like again, like 9 is like a League of Villains thing. And then Shigaraki also appears at the end of that movie. So maybe he could like be on Naboo Island, discover something intentionally or unintentionally, do like some quick recording or something like that. And then I mean, I see what you're saying, but
Yeah.
No,
maybe it's just because I really feel like it would
No,
be
it's-
narratively satisfying if he died
you
on
just
Naboo.
really
and I
want to see him die.
I want him
that's
to
fine, I
die.
get it.
I want to see bloodshed.
We get that.
I
version that
feel
love,
like
that
yeah.
I love.
I feel like there's a it would I feel like the war with the paranormal liberation front might be a much better place for him to die because like
Yeah.
they've got time to prepare, so he's got time to make that recording, and then there's a lot of battle going on. Who knows how many OC villains he could put in there as well, like, and then and also also in the anime I just saw what happened to Midnight, so
Don't tell me.
like,
I haven't watched it yet. I haven't
Yeah,
watched
I
it.
same.
won't I won't
Same.
I won't. But yeah,
It's too late for spoilers now. It's been too long.
no, no, that was literally the last episode I just saw. Like I still have a few episodes to go before I actually caught up to the present. But anyway, I feel like that would be a satisfying thing because like canonically it should happen like very quickly after Naboo Island, right? Or am I wrong about that?
So the Paranormal Liberation War actually will take place after the third movie.
Oh,
Okay.
Because
God.
the third movie takes place like smack in between seasons 5 and 6.
Yeah, no, that
That's
feels
World
like
Heroes
way
Mission,
too long
right?
then, honestly.
Is that World Heroes Mission or is that?
It is. It's World Heroes Mission. I still need to
Okay,
watch
that's
that,
the one
by
I
the way.
haven't seen yet.
Same.
No.
Yeah, but that feels like way
I
too...
can help you guys out with that one.
Okay. Yeah, that feels... It still feels way too long for
All right, so
for his death.
Silver thinks it's going to be here on Naboo Island. Joe Clone thinks it's going to happen later on in the Paranormal Liberation Front War.
Yes.
Which, you know, if you think about it, makes sense because, like, they're kind of theorizing that, you know, Shigaraki is going to want to target Kurai. Like,
Yeah. I mean, and that's like
Well-
when his quirk has currently awakened, right? That this is like happening after the Destructor person, just what's his name? What's the Doofenshmirtz guy?
Oh, Redestro.
why you gotta do that?
Destro. I mean, they hated Jesus because he told them the truth.
Ah!
Oh, burn.
But yeah, is Naboo Island like when the villains have when Shigaraki has recruited Redestro? Has that happened in canon?
Yeah, my theory, I think I was going over this with Robin, was that the Shigaraki that's in the in the Heroes Rising movie, my theory is that that's a clone that's kind of keeping an eye on things while Shigaraki's, you know, undergoing his transformation. Because
So,
the way that he's
yeah,
dressed,
twice
the way that
clone,
he's got his
okay.
I
hand
thought we
messed up.
discussed that. We came to the conclusion that it happened before he went in.
No, I don't know.
We can discuss that later.
Yeah.
Because we had a whole discussion about it. We were watching the movie about whether or not it was before or after he got put in the tank. But
I mean,
Yeah.
they would have been fighting Gigantomachia like before they got the Meta Liberation Army on their side. I don't think they had time to like be running around and moving this truck and stuff for the Doctor. I feel like that had to happen. I feel like that had to happen after the whole thing got settled.
Yeah, because like they only met the Doctor like when they finally recruited Gigantomachia. And if they're moving a crate for the Doctor, so that happens after the fact. So I'm pretty sure everything that happens in the second movie is after the Redestro incident.
Yeah, like I said, my theory is that that Shigaraki is a clone.
See, the thing with like the movies, I do genuinely love the movies, but they don't. I feel like they don't neatly fit into the canon, or maybe they do, and I'm just not thinking about it hard enough.
Apparently,
remember
we
we were
manga a little easier.
Well,
Okay.
remember we were talking about because the anime swapped the order of the of what events were supposed to happen.
Okay. Anyways, any other things we need to go over? Any last thoughts or anything like that? Any other queries or questions?
Do you guys?
What the crew's crying?
No, I'm just laughing. I'm just laughing at Amira's meme right now.
Sorry. It doesn't compare to Robin's, but you know,
It's beautiful.
I tried.
It's very good. It's very good. You're learning.
Yo, yeah.
Sorry, I'm also
My
kind of
mortal
dying.
enemy agreed with me.
Ugh,
Yeah,
I'm kind of dying because the pug farted, so I'm like, ugh.
Oh,
yeah.
Is that what that smell was?
Yeah.
Any other predictions? People who have not spoken.
I think everyone's been speaking.
Yeah.
no, we're good.
I'm
bro.
kind
Good.
of
All of
tapped
us-
off.
All of us are on board that we need to
Kill him.
hurry up and release
Sure.
these chapters, my dude. I've been, you have to know, I do not support him in his stubbornness, man. I'm like, man, hurry up and edit these structures you've had because come on, let's go. It's going on for a really long time. Espérate, let's go.
9.
That's
Yeah,
language,
I have a
so-
schedule
you know-
and I'm sticking to it.
I'm kind of tapped out on all. I've basically said all my thoughts. I don't even know. Like, I'll wait until the next chapter to write a review because basically, like, everything about the other chapters I've said here pretty much.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna.
That's all good.
Do that
this,
next.
Is this going to be a separate video post or is it going to be a part of
It's gonna be tagged on to the. It's I tag it on as a New Year's special.
Okay.
Which,
Oh,
which
right,
is
right,
what we
right.
did last year.
Ooh.
Nice,
All right.
nice.
There is yeah. Any
I'll
other
put,
last?
like, I'll try to put a timestamp in for like when the actual chapter
Okay.
begins and all that, so
Yay.
you guys can skip through this.
Okay.
Nice, nice.
One last thing. I don't know if you'd be okay with a shameless plug on my front.
Go on,
Okay.
go on.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, go
Fine.
for it.
All right.
Now's
For
the
those of you
time.
listening, I finally finished one of my SAO chapters that I've been working on for like a solid year and a half now.
Yeah,
so.
the Christmas
Nice.
chapter that
Yeah,
you finished
so-
just in time for New Year's. Of
Exactly.
next
I know,
year.
right? See, I meant to finish it earlier, but then Christmas stuff happened, and then all of a sudden I was playing a lot of Pokemon Violet, and you know how that goes.
You streamed that too.
Yeah, exactly. I did stream that.
We
And so as soon as like Robin finishes like looking over that and giving me some constructive criticism and kicking my teeth in, respectively,
Yeah.
that's gonna be posted. And yeah, if you want like a good SAO story that features Mataras and his character Saphira as well,
Oh,
then
nice.
go ahead and look at that because like it's only 10 chapters in, and this like recent chapter is like 21 pages long. I spent like way too long writing it, but
Okay.
all
right.
I don't know. I just really am proud of it, and I know it's a shameless plug, but I just wanted to throw that out.
No, don't
Now's
worry
the
about it.
time.
Don't worry. Dude, this whole thing is a shameless plug for me. What are you talking about?
That is true. That is very true.
This whole
That
thing
is fair.
shameless
That is
plugging.
fair.
Now,
All right,
if
for
we're
people
having-
who are
we're
not
having an
here,
open
where can we
discussion,
find
feel
this?
free, sir.
Yeah. Go at my name is my fanfiction name is Silver4700. The title of the story is here. I'll type it here, but it's like the other world : dreams.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
And basically it goes into basically just SAO from a different perspective. Essentially, it features a lot of like the same stuff, and it's going to be like a relatively short story. Like I'm hoping to make it like 20 chapters max.
Okay.
But so yeah, that's happening.
Don't want to make
Nice.
people wait like 100 chapters to get to the point,
Like
right?
this.
And I'm gonna make them wait like the exact same amount of time, like 2-3 years, because it's gonna be like SAO Bridge, where it's like a chapter a year or something like that. But
Oh my gosh.
At
But-
least it's every other week for you guys, right?
true.
Mm.
Yes.
Ugh.
But yeah, no, unless anyone else, or unless you have any last questions or anything, any last comments,
No,
I'm
do you?
basically kind of tapped out of
I
thoughts.
think
Yeah.
we're good.
Same.
All right.
Fanfiction, Twitter, YouTube, Last Robin, Instagram.
I mean, Lord-
Look at everything.
Please follow his Instagram
Twitch.
for the
Please like
memes.
and subscribe.
I have
I
no
got
plugs.
a fan fiction myself. It's Joe Clone. I only have one story that hasn't been updated in a long time because my laptop has not been
You
working.
guys
So
suck.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And you feel like you're saying that as if you.
I'm surprised.
I want to keep continuing writing it. It's just I haven't had a chance to get some material down. So
No, that's totally fair. That's what it's been like for me. Yeah.
See, he's
The
a
eternal struggle.
stay-at-home dad, and this is his like his quote unquote job aside from raising children. So he
Because that doesn't take any time at all.
you
What?
still find time, dude. You still find time. You're not going to school and figuring out how to support yourself.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's
Those
true.
are things.
That's very true.
Yeah. Well, this has been absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Thank you for having us. It
Yeah,
was.
for sure.
Yeah,
Thank you
that's
so much.
good.
Thanks for
Yeah.
taking all of our kicking and losing of your teeth in stride.
If you ever
Just
want
wanna
to
be-
come kick your teeth in again, just let us know.
let's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
give us your
I'll
address.
definitely
We
free.
can send you a pair of wooden teeth.
It's hard too when you don't see his voice because he has his face because he has such an intense voice that it's hard to like not to take things wrong with him. So like I don't know. It's you really do, especially when you're growling at people. So
Yeah, that sounds about right. That
so,
checks out.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easy to take offense at the Joe and so,
No, yeah, I've been laughing through most of this.
yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Hey,
Because there's gonna
Mataras,
be more.
also, Also, let us
Oh,
know
God.
if you want any of us to voice act any characters in the
Oh,
coming
no,
up
please.
chapters.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'd be. I mean, if I don't know.
Y'all are just trying to get spoilers out of me.
No.
What?
No.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. That's a whole lot of
That's a lot of
cutting
work.
together that I just
That's a lot
don't
of
have
work.
time for.
No, that's totally valid. That's
Okay,
totally
Mr.
valid.
Lazy.
But anyways,
What, Mr. Lazy? What did you just call me?
duh.
I'm doing artwork. I'm doing story writing. I'm raising kids.
Sounds pretty lazy to me, bro.
Oh, come on.
Anyways,
That's a little bit too low there,
all
man.
right, no, I apologize. I take that back. You're a
No,
you're a
raising
hard
kids is
worker.
hard.
You're a hard worker, Mataras.
Well done, sir.
We
Well done.
love you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
We're
Well,
just mean.
yeah.
Because
All right.
you're mean to us.
Well, I hope
Yeah.
everybody has a really happy New Year. Let's kick
Aw,
off 2023
you
with something
too.
fun, huh?
Yeah,
No.
same. Here's to a good 2023.
And
Where-
Oh,
you know what? Just for you
50.
guys, before you go, I'm gonna put up the next chapter
yeah,
as a
let's go.
document in this. You guys can
Woo.
download it and read it.
Woo!
Have fun with it.
Nice.
Just be sure to
All
post
right.
a
Thank you
review
so much.
on the. Yeah, just be sure to post a review after I actually release it on fanfiction.net.
Yeah, sure, of course,
Right.
of course.
All right, post the review now. Got it.
Post the
Oh,
review now. Got it.
first up to in the
Yeah.
reviews.
All
All
right.
right, guys, take care.
Let's be sure to go beyond.
Plus Ultra.
Plus Ultra!
That's Ultra.
I'm not taking part in
I'm not taking part in this. Oh, they're fun. I love them. Sorry.
Hello, everyone. We are here with the first podcast of the year 2023 for Your Hero Academia. I think 2022 was a pretty good year, but I'm also very much looking forward to this next year of storytelling.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
You know the stuff that's the stuff that I've got
can't.
planned. It's
Yeah, I can't.
can't talk about it without
comment
spoiling
right
anything,
now.
but we're both pretty excited, I think.
Okay, so let's do some reviews.
Yep, let's get the last reviews from 2022.
All right, Light Hero Kaiser, most interesting, great chapter. Wait, can't wait for more. Kaito, wonder if Kai's third eye will they will find Katsuma faster. Well, I hope so, because his sister really was annoying.
Preach, my friend.
Light, you have a soft spot for kids like her, and you know it.
Uh-oh.
Kaito, your point? She was still annoying at first, though. Saying how we are the worst heroes ever, me and the others, legendary heroes who save the whole world. If anything, we are true heroes.
I mean, if you're going off the 4 cardinal heroes from the Rising of the Shield Hero, I can understand why she would hate you guys. Those are some really bad protagonists, let me say.
But yes, I have a hot soft spot for kids. That's one of the reasons I help out at daycares that I like and the like. Blade Hero Light and Bow Hero Impact signing out.
All right, so
Very
you
interesting.
help small children. Awesome. It's a good endeavor. What? Well, we've got a bad endeavor in this show. It's better to have a good endeavor than a bad one.
No, I'm so exhausted from children right now. I'm not even working right now. It's just my kids. I love them dearly. I don't know how you do it.
1 hour at a time. That's how.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yep.
I love them. It's hard. Okay. Sorry.
Let's
I got
see.
a little triggered there.
So Chaos Control 85.
All right. Lol. I'm half surprised Angsty TNT didn't have his aneurysm about having to do night patrols on his own for not participating in the tasks earlier in the day yet.
That happens on another day. It's not. I went back and watched the movie to make sure that I had like all the events, later events in the movie. That all happens during one day, but I wanted to make sure that I had like the spacing of the days out right, and him being angry about doing night patrol, that doesn't happen until later in the week that they're there.
Okay. I don't think Jiro is going to like jamming Jay trying to go out with local populace. But then again, he who shall not be named isn't around to show jamming Ye the error of that kind of thought process to better himself on his own. So, oh well.
I think he who should not be named being absent has actually kind of been better for Kaminari, like in that respect, because he doesn't have a collaborator to like
Bounce
encourage,
off of.
and bounce off of and encourage the more negative tendencies.
Yeah, everyone just kind of gives him dirty looks in general, so he doesn't
Yeah.
have anyone encouraging him.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right.
He's also less scummy about it, I feel like.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, I kind of felt the exposition during the beach started to get a bit long-winded, but luckily it didn't go too far, and it helped expedite the added interactions at the landslide. And Mina got a bit as well without just riding his coattails for fame too, so that was even better.
Yes.
Yeah, Team Lightning Drop unofficial debut. Let's go for the next chapter. Woo.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Because we had them like do their combat debut with the Class A versus Class B bit, but this is like their first opportunity to go out and do something like as a hero team. So
yeah, just help somebody out.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Yeah,
that killed me with the kids. Just like this guy, I don't know. Something about when there's like the two little kids and the dad's like, oh, it looks like you're gonna have a couple of lifetime heroes. I'm like, no.
Oh
that
man,
killed
yeah.
me. Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Stop laughing, meanie. All right.
Never.
Thank you, Light Hero Kaiser and Chaos Control 85.
Yeah.
All right, Xeno X14.
This is a new person, I
Okay.
believe.
Ever thought of doing a chapter focused on both Akurui and Tensei, maybe dealing with how their disabilities affected them?
I have. And if I do it, it will come on later in the story. But I definitely have thought about it. It's a really good point. It's a really good point to bring up because that is something that kind of ties them both together. And given they're already family friends,
Yeah.
it gives them something to kind of commiserate over, I suppose you could say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've definitely thought about including a chapter that covers that subject, but I haven't really found one that fits in without feeling like it's being shoehorned in just yet.
Gotcha.
So I gotta wait for the timing to be right on
Okay.
that kind of thing.
All right, that's a good thought. All right, thank you, Xeno X14.
Thank you.
All right, Joe Clone. Well, this was a very nice chapter. Beach scene was the big highlight there, showcasing Kudai interacting with ordinary citizens for the first time in a hot minute. It was a lot longer than I expected, and I enjoyed it very much.
All right.
The actual action is starting next time. I'm really excited for this new villain you got brewing. Happy holidays, Mataras.
Well, thanks for the happy holidays, but I don't remember saying anything about the actual action getting started next chapter. But we'll see. We'll see. Thank you for the review, buddy.
Torturing you guys.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
so much fun. You guys keep coming back for more.
Thank you, Joe Clone. Okay, Silly Kita, what's this? Not one, but 2 beach chapters for Mataras in one story. Are we sure this is the same writer?
Hey!
He's watched a lot of the anime in the last few years, hun. All right. In all seriousness, I quite enjoyed your take on that scene. You took a 30-second throwaway joke and turned it into something meaningful to your character's growth, while also keeping it somewhat humorous. The integration of Team Ruby characters into the tasks and the resulting interactions between the heroes we saw being completed in the original movie were flawless. My favorite example being Ruby helping Tokiyami patrol the island.
I mean, yeah, it kind of makes I kind of thought watching the movie, I was like, wait, they've only got one dude like going around with a bird's eye view. I was like, you couldn't have like Yajirozu build the glider, or maybe have Uraraka floating around every now and again to help him out, because this just seems like a lot for one dude to keep track of.
That is a lot to cover for one person.
Like, granted, the population of the island is fairly low, and like it's a low crime area, so I can see how they would get away with it. But I do feel like there should have been like or maybe even Ida like running around the island.
Yeah,
should have been a thing. Like, I understand that he has to like coordinate stuff from the home base and all that, but we do see him going out on jobs and stuff. So I was like, if they had the resources to add to that patrol, then they should take advantage of it.
Okay.
And Ruby's quirk seems like it would be best suited for that kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. Kudai being a bro for Red Riot. I approve. Our story hero deserves a good wingman.
Sturdy hero.
Sturdy hero deserves a good wingman. And the guardian hero turns out to be surprisingly good at it. Unexpected, but not unwelcome.
Yeah, like he didn't. I don't know. I feel he didn't set out to be Kirishima's wingman, but is like kind of one of those things where it just fell on his lap, and he was like, "All right, I can work with this."
Trying to be nice and not totally like leave them I don't know.
Like heartbroken? I don't know.
Disappointed. Yeah,
Disappointed?
I really like how we didn't get the typical anime protagonist who doesn't know what to do as soon as a cute girl who isn't his significant other starts to make a move. Kudai was awkward about it, but not in a cringeworthy comedic fashion. He understands that this is probably going to be a regular part of his life going forward, and he's going to do his best to adapt to the situation as it presents itself. Very refreshing indeed.
Okay, I'm glad it came off that way, because, like, yeah, like you said, like, I very easily could have done, like, the typical anime protagonist, like, turns into a stuttering mess, doesn't know what to do with themselves, but I'm like, and he probably would have done something like that were he the Kurai that we met at the beginning of the story. But, like, at this point, he's moved forward in his relationships and become comfortable in his own skin enough to understand that, like, okay, these kind of things are going to happen. I need to, you know, not freak out about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good deflect there.
Okay. I was like, is it smoothly or... But, like, that was... I felt like that was as smoothly as he could handle it without it.
Yes, he's naturally introverted, but he's also quick. Like, I think a lot of people get the impression that if someone curses, and that's not always the case. So, because I know some of my closest, but when they do, it's like, they're really quick-witted and they put their words together really well because they slow down and think about how they're going to respond. And think about it. He has Akurui as a little brother and he's used to verbal jousting with him. So he's good at thinking on his feet.
That's going to come into play. Like, I like how you worded that. That's definitely going to come into play during a couple of scenes in this coming chapter. We can talk about that more after the audio's
all
done.
right, interesting.
But yeah, it's funny that you worded that way.
Yeah. All right. So, sorry, I lost my spot.
Let's see.
Okay. Yang and the others making fun of him was a great scene, made even more so by how chill Mina was about the whole thing. It really speaks to her self-confidence and trust in him, that she can find out about this kind of thing and not even bat an eye. Forget turning into a jealous jerk that a lot of anime girls do. Yeah, that does get old. These two really are relationship goals.
Aw.
I hate that I just used that expression, but I don't know what else to frame, how else to frame the thought. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I get that. I wish I had Mina's self-confidence. Like, holy cow. All right. Ashid Queen and Kai being power couple was also great to watch. I know that in terms of practicality, Ayama could have just as easily accomplished the same thing that he and Mina did in the original film, but for the character dynamics, this made a lot more sense. Again, you took 10 seconds of screen time that could have easily been forgotten and turned them into a well fleshed out scene. I don't know any other writers who can do that so completely, so well done. Wow.
Thank you.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, with this opening chapter, again, I have the time that the movie didn't.
Yeah.
To flesh these things out. Like in the movie, like, it's great. We need a quick overview of, like, what their life looks like while they're doing this stuff. And the opening montage does a good job of that. But I have the opportunity to go more into those interactions that result from these deeds that they're doing.
And it
wanted
just
to take
makes
advantage of that.
for a more emotional, climax because, they're developing relationships with the community there.
Yeah.
And the community is starting to really care for them too because they see what kind of people they are. And I don't know. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I love this movie and just the way that the teamwork is thrown in so flawlessly. It's like, I think, sorry if I've said this before, but for me, you watch the entire show Avatar Last Airbender, which is one of my favorite things ever. And by the end of the show, you have this flawless teamwork that just gives you these giddy feel-good moments because you love all the characters so much, right? And it's like that moment where everyone just kind of comes together toward the end of the show. And this movie felt like they hit that dynamic with the characters, and I love the characters almost as much, at this point, that, if not the same amount, because we've gotten to know these characters so well, and now we just get to see them in their element. It's so cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. The two of them interacting with the little kids and then talking about where they'd like to retire someday was also really sweet and oh, so painful. it was like getting a look at what they would be like in the future after they got married and start a family. And oh my gosh, incoherent
incoherent screeching. Well, that's what we're gonna go with for the audio.
It's like either a forehead on the keyboard or
Or like,
you jerk. Yeah. It's not gonna happen. Why do you have to keep reminding us of that?
Because it's funny.
Yeah, you guys have no idea. He tortures us. You jerk. It's not gonna happen. Why do you gotta keep reminding us of that?
Because these characters don't know that it's not gonna happen. None of them has a foresight quirk, so...
Dramatic irony. I look forward to the New Year chapter release, even though I have now been proven wrong concerning my prediction about Kudai dying before the end of 2022. But now I'm almost positive that it's going to happen during this arc. There's just too many red flags going off in my head. On the other hand, if I turn out to be wrong about this, I'll just never trust my gut instincts ever again. Team Lightning Drop forms up to meet Katsuma and Maharo next chapter. Let's go.
All right, yeah, man, let's go. These are some good reviews on the last. I'm glad it seems like we're pulling in some more new readers every chapter,
which is good.
Yeah,
good to
I love having the regulars.
I love that we have regulars, and it's also good to hear from new voices too, because sometimes I'm like, okay, do we just have a bunch of yes men who are really nice to us? Or is it, because I think Joe's fantastic. I think the story is fantastic. I'm a little biased, though. So it's nice to see other people giving him positive feedback. And that was like a really solid point from our new reader there about Akurui and Tensei.
Yeah.
Would love to kind of flesh out that idea a little bit more.
Yeah. I do have plans for both of those characters going forward, but a chapter concerning how their disabilities affected them will take a little while to drop in.
Okay.
But I think it'll happen.
All right.
I think it'll happen.
Sweet. Well, that's it for reviews.
All right. That's it for the reviews from 2022. Let's move into 2023. Be back in a bit.
From the moment I reached the other side, I could not hide from the great divide. I can't turn back time. I'm a soul. Get back what I lost, no matter the cost. Is there no way home? Is there no way home?
Far. By the middle of the week, Class A was starting to become familiar with the island and some of its residents, all of them doing their best to memorize the names and faces of the people that they met and were helping. Bakugo was still refusing to go out, spending his days reading magazines of various sorts, much to the irritation of his classmates, but not even Kirishima could get him to take a job. Izuku, Ochako, Mina, and Kurai got their chance to act as an official team when Ochako got a call from a panicked little girl who was saying that she had lost her brother near the shopping district. "Stay calm, okay?" the Gravity Girl said soothingly. "We've got a team on it." Hanging up the phone, she stood and stretched her arms over her head as she said, "We got a missing kid. Who wants to come with?" "Hard pass," Bakugo growled when she gave him a hopeful look. "Come on!" "Yeah, you're real busy, Bakugo." Kirishima sighed as he stood up. "Guess Red Riot is up." "Yeah, and how's your dumb quirk gonna help find anything?" Bakugo's snarky comment left his friend looking visibly deflated, but that didn't change the fact that Ochako would need help if she was going to find the lost child quickly. "Lost kid?" Kurai said as he pointed to his brow where his third eye would appear whenever he activated his Ajna chakra. "Sign me up." "I'll go too," Mina said with a smile. "I'm free," Izuku added. When they all realized they were clear to volunteer together, Ochako and Mina let out excited shouts of happiness. "Team Lightning Drop has its first mission!" the pink girl declared as they started to head out the door. "Hold on," Yayorozu called after them, Ida having left to help an elderly woman get to the hospital. "Do all four of you have to go? We have plenty of other requests at the moment." "The more people we have looking, the better," Kurai answered his classmate. "Don't get me wrong, I'm sure that field workers could use a hand with the harvest, but I'm more worried about a lost kid." "I suppose that's true," the vice representative sighed. "All right, I'll see if Rose can go help while you're out." "Thanks, Yamamoto," Mina said as the quartet left the office. Once they were on the road that led to their agency, the heroes went into action. "Full cowling, 10%! Deku declared, verdant lighting sparking off his body as he held a lifesaver's floaty around himself. Behind him, Uravity made herself and Acid Queen weightless as they held onto the attached rope, intending to hitch a ride with her boyfriend, while Kai powered up his body with his own quirk. They could have each taken a passenger, but they only had the one floaty to work with. Maybe we should have Yamamo make us another one, he thought as they took off at high speed, heading straight for the island shopping center. They flew high over walking paths, backfields, and scattered houses before they landed at their destination. What's the name of the kid we're trying to find? Deku asked as they slid to a stop, Uravity undoing her quirk's effects as they did. His name's Katsuma, she told the others as they started to look around for any children that seemed as though they were confused about their surroundings or without an adult. His older sister Maharo made the call. Not her parents? Kai asked curiously. No, Uravity said with a negative shake of her head. She didn't say anything about them. It sounds like they were planning on their own and got separated. Makes sense, I guess. Kai thought as he began to focus on his Ajna chakra. This is a safe island, and the community seems pretty close-knit, so I guess the parents would be okay with their kids being out and about for a bit. Ultimate move, he muttered as soon as he was ready. Divine Eye! He shut his eyes as they went dark, allowing his mind to more easily process the sensation of his power more or less echolocating everything and everyone around him as he attempted to find Katsuma. His power had grown enough that he could see everything within a radius of 1 kilometer, though he couldn't do that for very long before he started getting a severe headache. His classmates waited for a few seconds before the glowing indigo light faded from his brow and hair, and he blinked a few times, his eyesight returning to normal. No good, he said as he rubbed at the bridge of his nose. Every kid I could see was either too old to be the one we're looking for or with their parents. This Katsuma kid must have gone looking for his sister elsewhere. Let's ask around and see if anyone knows him, Acid Queen suggested. Maybe they can tell us where he would go. Good idea, Deku nodded. Split up and keep your phones on in case one of you finds something. Got it. It took the teenagers the better part of an hour before they had enough clues as to the child's whereabouts for Kai to cast the sight of his divine eye in the direction of a playground that overlooked the west side of the island. The girls' friendly natures had made gathering intelligence a lot easier for the boys, who still had a tendency to be a little awkward around new faces. He could now see 2 small people on the grounds, one of whom he assumed was Katsuma. At least it seems like he's got a friend with him, Kai thought as he alerted the others to the location. He and Deku took off in the direction of the playground, Uravity and Acid Queen telling them that they would catch up as soon as they could. They soon found a little boy, probably about 6 or 7 years old, calling out for Maharo. That's gotta be Katsuma, Kai thought as he and his friend slowed themselves while Deku called out to the boy, who looked startled by their presence. I could have sworn there was another kid around here, so why is he acting like he's on his own? Hey, come with us, Deku said as he reached out with a smile to the wide-eyed little boy. My friend and I can help you find your sister. Heroes? Katsuma asked with a hint of wonder in his voice. Before he could take Deku's hand, a shrill voice came from the top of the slide shouting, There you are! It's about time! This was followed by a little girl who slid to the bottom, sprung up on her feet, and jabbed an accusing finger at Deku's face, who fell on his rear in surprise. What's your name, slowpoke? She demanded. Huh? The green-haired hero said blankly, unsure of what had just happened. I'm Deku. Who are you? The girl puffed out her cheeks before answering. I'm Maharo, Katsuma's older sister. Holding up a phone, she displayed the stopwatch app, Maharo continuing to shout, You were looking for him for almost an hour. What, did you ice scrape from the bottom of the barrel when they sent for you guys out here? She turned her scowl on Kai, about to yell at him too, when she saw something in his eyes that told her that would be a very unwise decision on her part. Her indignant attitude quickly evaporated under a piercing glare that would have made Bakugo proud. You better have a really good explanation for why you pulled this little stunt, he said, his voice calm and collected, not matching the anger in his eyes, which was somehow more unsettling for the little girl. Gosh, she's just a... The boy held up his mechanical arm to indicate that he wanted silence from his friend, who, after seeing the gleam in his eyes, decided it might be better if he stayed quiet, at least for the moment. As he lowered the artificial limb, he prompted Maharo again, saying, I'm waiting, kid. The girl said as she dropped her gaze away from him and shifted her weight nervously from foot to foot. It was a test, to see if you guys could cut it out here. You're just high schoolers, so why should we trust you people? She tried to put some defiance back into her voice as she looked back up, and immediately quailing again when Kai's eyes remained angry and unwavering. There was a silence that reigned until the boys could hear the girls' voices coming up the steps that led to the park. This was when Kai said in a stern voice, I want one of your parents' phone numbers. Let's see what they think of their kid who likes to scare the little brother by ditching him and wasting the hero's time. Both Katsuma and Maharo flinched at his tone, but now the little girl's defiance was now back full in effect. I don't have to do anything you tell me, she said petulantly. You're not my dad, and you're definitely not my mommy. She made to storm past him, only being stopped when Kai grabbed her by the arm and forced her to look into his eyes as he squatted down to be eye level with her. You committed a crime by calling in a false emergency, he said, maintaining his low tone of voice and hard glare. Worst, you invalidated any trust that we might have had in your words before now. What if something really does happen to you or your brother now? Why should we believe anything you say if you call us with another emergency? Hey, what's going on? Uravati asked as Deku stood up with her and Acid Queen. Is this Katsuma? Hi, the boy said shyly. Yes, I'm Katsuma. I guess my sister just pretended that I was lost? His confusion seemed genuine, so Kai decided not to give him a hard time after he was done with his sister. Hey! The pink girl said with a frown that she directed at Mahara, who was still transfixed by Kai's stern gaze. That's not cool, kid. What's the big idea? I don't owe you wannabes any explanation. The girl said as she tried to wrench away from Kai, whose mechanical grip remained firm. Let go! Your hand is cold! Yeah, it is, he said in a flat voice while he stood up. Fine, you don't want to cooperate? I'll just have to take you down to the office and keep you and your brother there while we figure out how to contact your parents. No, please don't do that, Katsuma begged. Our dad works on the mainland and, we don't have a mom. His expression became sad enough that Kai couldn't help but feel for the kids. With a long sigh, he released Maharo's arm and stood up. My dad died not long ago, so consider that heartstring successfully tugged. He muttered as he kept a stern gaze on the girl, who shuffled off toward her brother. That only works one time, though. I'm pulling your dad's number off the citizen's registry and keeping him on speed dial in case you think it's a good idea to pull another stunt like this. Got it, Maharo? When all she did was try to walk away with her brother, he stood in front of her and said in a slightly harsher tone, Look up at me and say that you understand, or I'll change my mind about letting you off with a warning. And while you're at it, apologize to my friends for wasting their time. There are people elsewhere on the island who we could be helping right now. Slowly, reluctantly, Maharo raised her face, which was beet red with embarrassment, and mumbled, Sorry I pretended to lose my brother, sir. I won't do it again. Thank you, Kai said in a softer tone as he stepped to the side. Go home now, and don't cause any more trouble for us, please. Maharo said nothing, but Katsuma paused in front of the heroes before he tugged nervously on the strap of his satchel and said, Sorry about my sister, and, thanks for coming to find me. Deku gave the boy a smile as he said, You're welcome, Katsuma. I'm just glad that you're safe. The little boy's eyes lit up before Maharo came back, grabbed his hand, and stomped away, pouting the whole time. As they left, Uravati turned to Kai and said, That was kind of harsh, wasn't it? The sooner the kids learn not to cry wolf, the better, he replied firmly, though with nowhere near as much intensity as he had used on the children. That was for their benefit, not mine, I promise. I feel like there was more to it than just a lesson to be learned, Acid Queen commented, though from her expression, it didn't seem as though she really disagreed with her boyfriend's opinion on the matter. Kai sighed before beginning to speak again. When I was about 5, one of the neighborhood kids, who knew my dad was a detective, came and told my mom that there had been some scary people who had been meeting with his dad at night, and they usually smelled really bad. To make this part of the story short, my mom tells my dad authorizes a stakeout on our neighbors, a week goes by without anything happening before he realizes the kid had pulled a prank. He has a talk with the parents who just pass it off as the kid having some fun. They were the kind of people whose kid could do no wrong, you know? Fast forward to our first year in middle school, the kid has turned into a pathological liar whom nobody believes. You see where I'm going with this? I'm guessing a real crime is somehow involved? Uravati asked with a slight grimace, to which Kai nodded once. A real nasty pair of robbers break into his house, kills his parents, and then as a game tell him that for every 10 minutes that went by without a hero showing up to stop them, they'd kill one of his 3 kid sisters. He kept calling, but he was on a screen list by that point, and the heroes kept ignoring his calls. By this point, both the girls and Deku were fairly pale, having already guessed how the story would end. With a grim set to his mouth, Kai muttered, Yeah. By the time anyone realized something was wrong, the villains were long gone, and everyone else in the house was dead, and according to Tensei, it wasn't pretty. He caught the guys eventually, but of course by then it was too late. Ingenium worked the case? Deku asked, something in his head starting to resonate with the story. Seeing the look in his eyes, Kai prompted his memory by saying, The villains were a couple of guys who used electric-type quirks. They specialized in disabling people's security systems so they could break in without getting the cops called on them automatically. Oh, yeah, now that I remember, Deku replied with a grimace. They were really nasty people, but I hadn't heard about that part before. I can't stand prank callers because of that, his friend muttered. If Kanbei had been disciplined by his parents, or if he'd learned to value the truth more, at least his sisters might have been okay. I can see why you reacted the way you did then, Uravati murmured before tilting her chin up to look directly into her friend's eyes. But maybe next time take it a little bit easier on a kid like Maharo. She doesn't know any better. This is how kids like her learn, He shrugged in response. All I can go off in situations like this is how adults treated me and other kids around me when I was their age. With a slightly snarky grin, he asked, "Turned out all right before Mina became a bad influence, right? Hey!" In spite of the heavy story that had just been laid out, the four of them burst into laughter at his little joke. "I guess we finally learned how to cope with all the awful stuff we've been through, or we've lost our marbles," Kai thought as they started heading back to the office. Either way, I love being a hero. That afternoon, Class 1A was thoroughly exhausted. "We've been going plus ultra beyond what the Labor Standards Act permits," Kaminari said as he slouched in his chair while Kodai slid him a cold drink. "Thanks, dude. No problem." "Hey, you guys think that maybe we could take on fewer small jobs?" Sero asked. Hopefully, looking at Ida and Yairozu, who were finishing up some paperwork before they would turn off their computers for the evening. "No can do," the class representative replied immediately. "All jobs are equally vital." "No, they're not." Kodai grunted as he set his mechanical arm on the table, along with a few tools. He was currently wearing his substitute prosthetic so that he could maintain his brother's invention. To his classmates, he said, "Is it okay if I do this here? The light in the garage is out." "Yeah, for sure," Ojiro said as he moved aside his glass of iced tea. "You need a hand with anything?" "No thanks, but I appreciate the offer." Yang snorted. "Hand. Real funny, Xiaolong." "I'll repair the light after dinner," Yairozu informed her friend, who gave her a thankful smile in return. Ida, however, was frowning as he asked, "How can you say that certain requests are less important than others, Kodai? Everyone who calls us in is depending on us to do our jobs quickly and competently." "So?" His oldest friend shrugged as he began to inspect the wrist on his preferred prosthetic. "I'm not saying the people who are asking for help aren't important. Far from it. But if we get two calls at the same time, one where a person has a busted tire, the other where their house caught fire, which one do you deem more urgent?" Before Ida could answer, Kodai added, "And just for the sake of playing devil's advocate, you only have one hero you can send out. Now what?" Ida clamped his mouth shut, refusing to bite. He knew what his friend was driving at, but he refused to lend it voice, largely because he hated being wrong. He also disliked it when it was Kodai pointing out his faults, because the other boy usually had his arguments planned out 3 moves in advance, which didn't make for very even debates between them. Seeing the defeat in his old friend's eyes, Kodai smirked and said, "Glad you see it my way." "Okay, sweetie, nobody likes a sore winner," Mina said playfully as she ruffled his hair while walking past. "Ida's just doing his best the way he knows how." "She's right," Yairozu said as she closed her laptop and turned to face the others. "It's true that we've come to this island as proper heroes, but we're still students too. We need to take every opportunity that we can to learn, even now." "Couldn't have said it better myself," Weiss agreed with a dainty smile as she sipped at her tea. "Really?" Hagakure giggled from next to the chair next to Asui. "You must not be trying very hard, because I thought you knew how to say everything better than us." "Ha!" Yang laughed as she high-fived the invisible girl while Weiss affected to ignore them. "Good thing Weiss has ice powers, because she'll need it for that burn." "Hey, I've got a question," Ruby said as a mischievous smirk played across her face. "Does that part about all of us needing to learn apply to everybody? Because I know a certain someone who hasn't done anything all week, and I'm starting to get a little jealous." Everyone turned to look at Bakugo, who snorted at them before growling, "Somebody's got to watch The Office, idiots. What are you going to do if a villain shows up and you guys are all doing stupid crap, huh?" "Oh, come on, there aren't any villains on this island," Kirishima said as he walked into the room, drawing the eyes of everyone when they saw that he was dressed up in a collared shirt and slacks. He had obviously just cleaned himself up, though his hair retained its spiky appearance, unlike when he normally was getting ready to wind down for the evening. "Look at what the cat dragged in," Yang said before making a cat-like sound, that made Kirishima blush a little bit. "What's got you looking so handsome, guy?" "I'm heading out for dinner tonight," he answered as he and Kodai shared in a grin. "Don't wait up on me, guys." "Wait, Kirishima," Ida said as he suddenly shot to his feet, eyes wide behind his glasses. "Are you going out on it? One move to stop him, it's an energon blast to your face, Tenya." Kodai warned him as he turned back to work on his arm, the necessary tool in hand. "I believe the terms of our bet from the sports festival still hold true. You have to shut up about this stuff for as long as we're a part of a UA's hero course." Ida scowled, but then sat down and resumed his paperwork without another word, leaving many of his friends confused as to what had just happened. "What bet are they talking about?" Weiss asked Yairozu, who shrugged helplessly. "Don't worry about it," Kodai muttered as he popped open the panel that ran on the inside of his arm between the elbow and the wrist. Tugging at a yellow wire, he sighed and said, "I knew it. Yamamoto, can I get 1.5 feet of wiring for my arm? It's materia 8 of 12. "Sure," the girl said as her arm glowed, spitting out the requested material before she handed it over to her friend. "Will that work?" "Perfect," he said with a smile. "Thanks." Looking up at Kirishima, who was still standing with a confused look on his face, he said, "Get going, pal. It's not manly to keep a lady waiting." "Actually, she said that she's meeting me here," he replied as he looked down at himself with a bit of apprehension. "Does this really look okay? Or is it too much? Too little? Man, I'm so nervous." You look good, Ejiro, Mina assured him as she moved closer with a pink flower in her hand that very nearly matched her hair. Here, girls like it when guys give them flowers, especially on the first date. As she said this, she gave her boyfriend a meaningful glance, which he elected to ignore. I said I was sorry, and in my defense, I'd just gotten out of the hospital from getting treated for brain trauma, Kurdai said without looking up as he tugged the old wire out. Sue me for forgetting something under those circumstances. He then set to work on installing the new conduit material with a look of intense concentration. You'll have a great time, Kirishima, Ochako said happily as she helped him straighten out his collar behind his neck, where it had been sticking up just a little. There you go. Now you look perfect. Thanks, Uraraka, Ashido, he said appreciatively as he accepted the flower from his middle school friend. You too, Hikari. Thanks for making this happen. Kurdai made sure the wire was firmly in place before looking up at his friend with a smile and saying, You're welcome, pal. As if on cue, the students heard a knock at their office door, so Kirishima went to answer it. They were all surprised when instead of one teenage girl, there appeared to be at least a dozen people, all of them carrying large platters of what looked like fresh food. Hello there, said the mayor as he led the people inside. Pardon us for barging in, but we wanted to bring you all a little welcoming present, as it were. Just a little something to express our gratitude for all your hard work, said an elderly lady who was carrying a large sushi dish. She was followed by a large man who was holding what smelled like a smoked fish, as well as several others, each of them with their own contribution to the small feast that had been prepared for the young heroes. Thank you very much, Yayurozu said as she bowed to the mayor and the older woman, while her classmates started to celebrate in the background. This is so nice of you. Well, it was very sweet of you to fix up my old bike, she replied with a bright smile at the young heroine. Thanks for helping us haul in the fish, Red Riot, said the man who had brought in the second dish, Kirishima giving him a confident smile in return. We appreciate you carrying old Granny Sato to the hospital, the mayor told Ida, who looked like he might pass out from sheer happiness. And for keeping the beaches safe, said another familiar voice, one that got Kurdai to stand up and smile politely as he greeted their other surprise guests. Hey, Kai, Tamari called out as she moved to say hello, Mina moving to his side as he did. This Ashid Queen? The one and only, Mina giggled as she shook hands with the other girl. You the one taking Kirishima out for a night on the town? No, that's my friend Rin, the ginger girl answered. Speaking of, she turned to Kirishima, who seemed to be looking for someone, and said, Hey, Red Riot, Rin's waiting out front for you. Hurt her feelings, you'll have me to deal with. Got it? Got it. Kirishima replied with gusto that had been lacking only moments prior. I won't let you down, miss. It's Rin you better not let down, Tamari warned him half-jokingly. Don't worry, he may not be a scholar, but he's definitely a gentleman, Mina assured the other girl while their friend made his exit. He's a bit of a dork, but he's got a good heart. All right, guys, Kaminari said happily as he grabbed Kurdai's arm and tools and put them on the coffee table where Ida and Yayurozu had been working, much to the Guardian hero's irritation. Hey, he shouted as he moved to glare at his classmate. I wasn't done with that. Kurdai said contentedly about an hour later. Now that was some good eats. Yeah, I'm so full, Izuku said happily. He and their girlfriends were gathered around one of the smaller tables to share in the delicious meal that had been provided to them. You can really feel their gratitude coming through the food, Uraraka said with a borderline woozy smile. Since her family wasn't very well off, it wasn't often she could eat in excess, and when she did, she relished in the experience. I think that's your gratitude coming through your belly, Mina giggled, though she happened to agree with the others. Man, this is the life. Work hard all day, come back to a warm home with my friends. I love being a hero. Can't beat this with a stick. Her boyfriend agreed as he stretched his arms over his head. Giving his girlfriend a sidelong look, he asked, What do you think? Showers than a nighttime stroll in one of the fields? Sounds great to me, she said happily as she hopped to her feet. Kurdai, seeing the look on Izuku's face, quickly added, We won't be out for too long. We can still run our drills when I get back. He had promised the other boy to continue helping with his training to master One for All, even while they were out on the island for the month. Thus, they'd spend an hour each evening practicing using their quirks with one another, mostly running basic combat moves and a few kata that Kurdai remembered from his days in karate, though they had one short sparring session the previous evening. They had to be careful with that because they didn't have any powerful healers on Nabu, unlike at UA where their injuries could be healed almost instantly by Recovery Girl, so their mock battle had been fairly restrained compared to their normal bouts. Why don't we go for a walk too, Deku? Ochako asked hopefully. The skies are so clear out here. I've never seen so many stars back on the mainland. Izuku looked like he was going to say that he should focus on his training, so Kurdai kicked him under the table before he could open his mouth without Ochako noticing. When the other boy gave him a look, Kurdai gave him a return gaze that said, Go spend some time with her, idiot! Unsure of what he had done wrong, Izuku decided that a few minutes of missed exercise on one night wouldn't hurt much in the long run. Yeah, that sounds nice, he said with a sincere smile, much to Ochako's delight. Great, she said happily as she and Mina stood up from the table, Izuku and Kunai not far behind them. As they passed one of the other tables, the boy with the robotic arm singled out Bakugo and said, "Hey, Ground Zero, night watch is yours." The graveyard shift for their agency lasted from 8 until midnight, and 9 o'clock was Bakugo's normal self-imposed bedtime. This led to him shouting, "Hey, why me?" "Because your ass was glued to the floor all day," Kunai replied without looking over. The moon was plenty high in the sky, and the stars were gleaming with an unhindered brilliance, providing plenty of light for Kodai and Mina to walk under as they strode across the rolling hills of Nabu Island in a peaceful atmosphere that made them both feel more at ease than they had in months. "I'm so glad that you decided to become a hero," Mina said as they found a good place to sit and enjoy the evening air. "Why's that?" "Because if you hadn't, I never would have met you at that entrance exam, and I never would have gotten to know you." She giggled as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. "We never would have gone through all this insane stuff together, and more importantly, I never would have had the chance to fall in love with my favorite person in the world." "I have to agree with you there." Kodai grinned as he leaned on Mina's shoulder. "It's amazing how far we've come in just under a year." "Makes me excited to find out where the rest of our lives will take us," she said softly, her exuberance dying down to be replaced by a peaceful contentment. "I love you, Kodai." "I love you too, Mina." Kodai kissed the top of her head before he added, "Always and forever." "That's an awfully long time," she laughed under her breath. "You sure you won't get tired of me before that time is up?" "No way," he answered firmly. "I'm not going anywhere." Good. The young couple enjoyed their time together for a little while longer before Kodai knew they would have to start heading back, or else he risked running late for his appointment with Izuku. After promising Mina that they would go to dinner on Friday in place of their normal movie nights back home, he bid her good night and watched her go into the building with a silly grin on his face. "You and that damn nerd." Kodai quirked an eyebrow at Bakugo as the other student came closer, dressed up in his hero gear for the night patrol. "Feeling left out?" he tossed back cheerfully. "Maybe tunnel vision is on your desire to become number one is holding you back a little, Ground Zero." Izuku and Ochako weren't quite back yet, so it seemed he had a little time to kill by having a short verbal joust with the explosive hero. "In your dreams," Bakugo snorted. "I'm going to become number one, and I'm going to do it my way. You might be top dog in our class right now, but it won't be long before you're in my dust." "Well, let's see you past Izuku first." Kodai grinned lazily, which just drew another irritated scowl out of Bakugo. "Once you can do that, I'll give you the all-out match you want so badly." "I'm already better than that nerd," the other student growled. "He's taking too damn long to master one for all is all. Once he does that, I can beat him at his best, and then you're next, I guarantee. I'm going to be greater than the greatest." His overall hostility had abated somewhat ever since he had found out that Izuku was All Might's chosen heir, and his pride had even bent enough for him to admit that Kodai was stronger than he was, following the battle in Fukuoka. He still wasn't easy to get along with, but Kodai no longer felt like kicking him the length of the UA campus whenever he walked in a room. "Good luck with that," Kodai said as he moved past the other student to a clear spot in front of the office building. "I'm not going to make it easy for you." "Just the way I like it," Bakugo replied with a feral smile as he moved along. The next morning, Izuku and Kodai were able to take another job together. The people who had gone out the previous evening were all in high spirits, so Kodai assumed that things had gone well for Kirishima, who promised to tell him about his date once they had their dinner that evening. For now, though, they all had work to do. "The Nijimas need help with their fields," the green-haired hero told his friend. "Mind giving me a hand? There's a lot to carry." The Nijimas grew hay for a majority of the island's animals, so their farm's importance to the local economy could not be stressed enough. "For sure." He nodded as he stood up from his desk. Over his shoulder, he said, "We're headed out, Yamamoto. Probably won't be back until the afternoon, so can you let Ida know?" "Of course," she said with a smile. "Belladonna's already there, actually, so you might get done before the day is over." "Awesome," Kodai replied as he clipped his sword to his sash and followed Izuku. "See you guys later." "Bye, everyone," Izuku added. As they exited the building and were set to jog up to the field when Izuku halted in place, drawing the attention of his friend. "What's up?" Kodai asked. "I thought I saw..." Stepping around the corner, the pair was somewhat surprised to see Katsuma on the road, kneeling on the ground and facing away from them. "Katsuma?" Hello," the little boy said as he turned around and stood up with a nervous expression on his face. I just came by to say that I'm sorry, again." "That's real sweet of you," Izuku said kindly as he smiled at the timid child. "And really thoughtful. You don't have to worry, though. I'm not mad or anything." Katsuma said as he looked up at Kodai, apparently unsure of how to approach the other hero. Kodai favored the boy with a smile of his own as he said, "I'm not mad at you either. You didn't do anything wrong as far as I'm concerned." "I'm still sorry that my big sister did what she did, though," Katsuma said, shamefaced. "I get why she did it, but I still feel bad." Kodai raised an eyebrow before he asked, Would you mind telling us why she did that? Well, she hates heroes, the boy mumbled, surprising the two teenagers. It wasn't the first time they'd met a child who had a dislike of heroes, but it was still intriguing to them. Why's that? Izuku asked the boy as he sat down on the road next to him. I'm not really sure, she just does, Katsuma answered as he fiddled with his satchel strap, drawing Izuku's attention to a particular item. Hey, cool pin, he said excitedly, causing Katsuma to look back at the older boy in surprise. Is that the ninja hero edge shot? Yep, Katsuma said with a smile, the first they had seen him give. Cocking his head slightly at the enthusiastic reaction, Kurai decided to ask, You want to be a hero, Katsuma? It took a moment, but Katsuma did eventually say, Not with my quirk. It's no good for hero stuff, and Maharo says that it's way too dangerous. Ah, there it is, Kurai thought as the boy's face became slightly downcast again. His sister doesn't actually hate us, she just doesn't want her brother tangling with the kind of stuff we have to deal with. It was a valid concern. Heroes were constantly putting their lives on the line, either against villains or forces of nature, and they didn't always come out on top. His body was living proof of that painful fact. It was not a profession for the faint of heart, and he could see how that would scare any little kid. However, Hey, mind if I ask you something? Izuku asked the boy. When Katsuma looked back to him, he asked, If you could choose, what kind of hero would you want to be? Katsuma gave a bashful smile before he answered, I'd like to be a really strong one who could beat up villains. Oh yeah? Izuku grinned before looking up at the sky, no doubt remembering the dreams of his childhood self. You know, what I want more than anything is to be able to help people and keep people safe. That's the kind of hero I'm aiming to be. But, Katsuma looked confused now, don't you have to beat up villains to make that happen? Not always, but it does happen fairly often, Kurai nodded. He waited for Katsuma to look him in the eye before he knelt down and told the boy. But if you do want to become a hero who defeats the bad guys, there's something important you should remember. What's that? When you're facing off against a tough opponent, it's not your own strength that matters, he assured the child as he placed a fist against Katsuma's heart. Standing up to them is the important part. Kai's right, Izuku said, remembering that Katsuma hadn't actually heard his friend's hero name yet. You and I both want the same thing, even if we have different ways of looking at it. Beating up a bad guy can help people, but if it's the helping people that's always called out to me. Either way, I can tell we both want to be the best hero we can be. Standing up with Kurai, he extended a hand out to Katsuma and added, That just means we should give it our all. Try not to worry your family in the process, though. Kurai chuckled as the two of them shook hands. He reached out with his left hand to shake Katsuma's as he added, Goodness knows I've had to have that lesson beaten into my head more than once. Katsuma was smiling brightly as he nodded his head and said, Yes, sir. Then he was gone, a skip and a step as he took off down the street, leaving the two young heroes smiling to themselves while an elderly lady approached them. I like that kid, Kurai said aloud. Hopefully he could be a good influence on his sister's pessimism. Little Katsuma is a very sweet boy, said the woman as she approached them with a bag of greens in her arms. He loves heroes a great deal, so I'm sure it made his day to talk to the both of you. Oh, these here are for you. She proffered the vegetables, which Izuku took from her with a word of thanks. Looking back down the road where Katsuma had departed, she asked the two boys, You'll be kind to him, won't you? When Kurai and Izuku gave her looks of confusion, she elaborated, It's not easy for them. Poor thing lost his mother at such a young age, and his father has to be away at work for so often. We around the neighborhood try to look after them as best we can, but it's not the same as having your mother and father with you. Kurai remembered hearing about their parents the day before, and his smile quickly faded. However, this didn't stop him from saying, I didn't lose my father until recently, but I can still imagine how much that must have hurt him and Maharo, losing their mom. I promise we'll keep an eye on them while we're here, Mrs. Suzumura. Thank you, dear, the woman said with a grateful smile. The three heroes worked hard, and they were just able to finish the fields in time for them to go home for dinner. The Nijima family offered to host them for a meal, but they declined on the grounds that it was Izuku and Kurai's turn to help make the food, and so promised to take them up on their offer another time. The sun was setting as the three of them jogged into the office, passing Ida and Ochako on the way in, all of them eager to get out of their sweaty hero gear and into some fresh clothes. That was until they saw Bakugo growling into the phone that he was holding, having apparently been left alone in the office. I heard about your little stunt, kid. I'm not falling for it, he said before he went to hang up, only to have the phone yanked out of his hand by Izuku, who pushed him aside, much to his surprise and irritation. Hello? He asked into the phone. Who is this? Kurai was surprised when only after a few seconds, Izuku frowned and held the phone away from his ear, turning to look at Bakugo. That sounded like Maharo, he said to Kurai. What did she tell you, Kachan? I don't know, some crap about a villain being at the harbor. The blonde hero shrugged. She's probably trying to mess with us again, so I'm not going to bother. I doubt that she's messing with us, Kurai said as he, Blake, and Izuku looked at one another with no small amount of alarm. Oh yeah? Bakugo scoffed. Why's that? Because Kurai is surprisingly good at putting the fear of God in little kids, Izuku answered as he put the phone down. I'm going to the harbor to check it out. I'll call if it turns out to be true, so let Ida know. I'm going with you, Kurai said as they charged out the door, their quirks enhancing their bodies and propelling them at high speeds as soon as they cleared the fence of their office. With any luck, this ends with me calling Maharu's father, he thought as they split the wind together. With our class's luck.
Even if they doubt me, push me where I stand, I will say it proudly, soon you know who I am. There is something that sleeps within you, listen close. You will soon know. Every door that is open for you, one is closed. Soon you will know what's on the other side.
Alright, so the action actually starts next chapter.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I've got one
You
more
guys
of
know
the
me. I can't just not leave you guys on a cliffhanger now that things are starting to get interesting. That's not how my storytelling style works. You don't get to rest easy.
Oh, but at least there was a somewhat chill chapter before the storm.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that the last few chapters have been have been pretty chill.
Oh yeah.
Like nothing nuts. Like we had the bit where he like goes to visit his mom in prison. He goes to visit his family. Then them getting to Nabu Island, and now this one like mostly was chill. I would say.
Yeah.
Kurai has no chill when it comes to when it comes to people calling him false crimes, though.
Oh man, yeah. So
Yeah, that's probably like I want to say that's like the first time I've used my dad voice in an audio series.
really,
Probably.
that's funny.
I didn't know how else to like pitch that.
Hey, well, it was good though because I mean the police background really comes out here
Yeah.
because it's a big deal to call in a crime.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you want to elaborate?
I
a little
mean,
bit?
my grandpa was a cop, so like several generations of my family have been in the military, so it's like, I've been raised to treat law enforcement and what they do for society with a lot of respect, and I cannot freaking stand when people like take advantage of that for just a cheap joke.
Yeah.
Like I hate that. So like even watching the movie the first time, like Maharu just really got on my nerves. I was just
And
like,
Deku's
how dare you, child?
And Deku is so like wimpy about how he handles it because he's sweet.
Yep.
But when he's caught off guard, he's not.
He's not very assertive.
He's not the quick thinker when it comes to verbal responses. Like he's.
I think that comes from a lifetime of being abused. I think.
Yeah, and so he just kind of freezes when someone calls him out and is mean with him. That being said, he's not really able to articulate the seriousness of what those what those kids did. I know it was mainly the sister.
Katsuma basically. I feel bad for Katsuma. He just got used.
Yeah, poor baby. But yeah, the sister was a total brat, and I think it's nice that Kurai's there to really kind of put her in her place, because that's what would happen if when kids call the police for a prank or whatever. Yeah. That generally speaking, they're gonna get sat down and they're gonna get a firm talking to. And, if it continues, the parents can get ticketed or what have you, So.
Like, yeah, and in a society, I feel like in a society where, this kind of thing, like, happens, like, every day, you can't be, like, people who just make a joke out of it, like, they won't be taken seriously.
Yeah. Well, it's just frustrating, too, because we've said it before, we live in a city where it's an extremely high crime rate, extremely high violence and poverty rate, and so... if you are lucky enough for a squad car even to make it within a reasonable time, it better be a big deal. It better be a
good reason.
Yeah, you don't just, because, and it's really sad because we're so short-staffed, our police department, because they've been so attacked in the recent years. Not always with without good reason, but they've been attacked in all the wrong ways.
Yeah.
Rather than being equipped, right? And so it's just it's
like
sad
everybody keeps pointing out what's wrong, and then they offer no real solution for how to fix things.
Yeah, so it's really unfortunate because instead we now have a culture where it's like, why call? No one's going to show up anyway.
Yeah.
Right. And because there's so many, and then meanwhile we have friends who are paramedics and family who are
Medical
EMTs,
staff.
and we'll hear about them be like, oh yeah, this lady always calls 911 because she can't get out of her chair and to reach her remote. And it's stuff like that. So it's so frustrating when, down the street, there could be somebody who's straight up dying, but they didn't make it in time because they thought there was an emergency here, right?
Yeah.
So it's a big deal.
So I have a lot of reasons for disliking prank callers.
And then Kudai's, reasoning ended up being, super dark, that he had a kind of a personal example.
Yeah.
And that one took me by surprise, but it definitely made sense that he was so intense about it.
Yeah. Like going into it, I was like, okay, I have my reasons for being intense about this, but I can't just project them into this character. I need to give this character a reason for why he's this intense about it. Because I couldn't think of a way to write the scene where he was more admonishing without it coming across like a jerk, unless he had a really solid reason for it.
Yeah, and I think it's hard too because it's so often we're in this culture of quote unquote gentle parenting, which has its strong suit, and there's strengths to it, but the problem is people take it to an extreme where you are always speaking very gently with children, and they never ever
if you don't make a response that equates the seriousness of the situation, if you just give them the same tone all the time, then they're just gonna then if there are consequences applied, they're just gonna assume that the consequences are the same no matter how bad whatever you've done has been done.
We have emotions for a reason.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is, we forget that kids, their prefrontal lobe hasn't totally developed yet. And that logic isn't quite there. And so unless, you can reason with them to a certain extent, but they need to understand the gravity of their actions.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think it's good. When I first saw his reaction, I was like, "Whoa, bro, chill." But at the same time, it's a big deal what she did, and I'm glad that he had the response he did.
Yeah. I kind of. Yeah, I also kind of like that there was not necessarily an out, but I don't really have the words I'm looking for right now. But when he lets them go, he's he kind of understands okay, these kids are in pain. There's kind of reasons for them to act out this way, so I'll let it slide. He's like, I'll kind of let it slide this time.
Yeah.
But he does give them a warning. He's like, I'm not gonna tolerate this again. But yeah, he sympathizes, he empathizes with them.
Yeah, because he's recently,
he lost his dad, and basically his mom basically isn't around anymore.
Yeah, and he's a little bit older, but it still hurts.
But yeah, he can still sympathize with that hurt,
and see how oh my gosh, how scary it would be to be that young and to have a younger sibling that you're wanting to watch out for.
Yeah,
right. And
he doesn't know what that's like at all.
Oh man. So moving on from that one, I'm trying to remember what happens next.
They had Kurai's working on his arm at at the dinner table because he has to do some maintenance on it. Yajirozu's helping him out. Kaminari and Ojiro are kind of interacting with him. Everybody's just kind of winding down for the evening. And we were talking about this earlier, where you talk about Kurai having this verbal jousting ability. The first example where this comes out is where Ida's like, "Nope, can't stop taking jobs. They're all equally important." And Kurai's just like, "No, they're not." Yeah. Just straight to his face. He's like, "You're wrong."
Yeah.
And he's just like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I'm not saying that the people aren't important." But he's like, this is why all jobs are not why all the jobs are not equally important. Here's X, Y, and Z. And Ida just kind of shuts up and goes back to work because he's like, I'm not going to win this. This guy has to argue with Akudori on a daily basis. He knows how to plan out his arguments in advance.
Yeah. I have to say, honestly, watching this movie, the hero job kind of confused me, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Because, like, we think of heroes as, like, saving people and protecting them and getting them out of bad
I think the number 7
situations.
hero is like the laundry hero or something. So I'm like, what does that guy do?
Yeah, so it's like, how does this work? How does the government, like, support? Do they get paid by the people they're helping? Are they just getting, do they have,
They
like...
get paid according to their performance and ranking in the hero charts, basically, as I
Okay.
understand it. So, like, as I understand it, like, the laundry hero, like, basically, he's in the top, he or she, I can't remember what it is, they're in the top 10 because they help the community out so much, even though they have, as I understand it, they have, like, no combat abilities.
Gotcha.
So, like, they're like, and, like, what was it, 13? You remember her? She has the black hole
she's a
fingers.
rescue.
She's a
hero.
rescue specialist. She has very little combat capabilities, so she does a lot of work for the community. That's how she gets up on the rankings.
Okay. See, with her, it's like, I get it, because it's
Yeah.
like rescue. If someone
Yeah.
gets in a car wreck or there's an avalanche or whatever.
Yeah.
But with,
Some of these jobs they're doing is just like,
Yeah, I'm
shouldn't you
like-
be doing like hired help for this?
I'm like,
Does hired
that's-
help just not exist anymore now that heroes are around? How does that work?
Yeah, I'm like, bro, this is run your own business, man. Like, why is,
Like-
anyway, I don't know. That was confusing to me.
It is a little
Um,
confusing, but I'm not really gonna question that too much
I'm
because
gonna-
it's a part of their culture, and that's not something that I could change overnight, even if I wanted to.
Also, I'm going to chalk it up to them being work studies who are eager to please, and also older people are going to absolutely abuse that. So
I mean, yeah, probably.
it's like, oh, look at this strapping young man with nothing to do. Come help me load my stuff that I'm selling, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not like they need to be rescued, but they're being
I mean,
noble, I guess.
I think it depends on like what kind of environment you're in, because like they mentioned in the movie, like there's been like no major crimes on this island for like 30 years or something.
Yeah.
Like you got like petty thefts and maybe some misdemeanors, but there's like no felons on the island or anything like that. So the community I think the community would just need a different kind of help.
Yeah.
Like they don't need people patrolling the streets all the time looking for like, okay, who's about to knife who.
Yeah. It's just like, the one town drunk had to sleep in the jail cell overnight again.
Yeah,
and,
probably things like that.
So it's, I get it. I think just when I watched the movie, I was like, I think it's so beyond what I can even imagine. Because I'm from Burke, right? So
Like where I grew up in Virginia, like definitely some crime happens and stuff, but it's not quite to this extreme that we see
It's
on
more
Naboo Island. But I could
community-oriented.
definitely see like more community-oriented heroes like existing in that kind of an environment.
yeah, I think I definitely could see that. Even just traveling to other states, it's weird how people straight up like look at you in the eye and say hello.
They're nice to you.
Yeah, and they like say, people that you don't know.
Yeah.
Like straight up.
Oh yeah,
look
like
at you in the
I
eye.
had to
like
I
around
was
here.
in-
It's like, oh, what do you want? You want to fight? What's up? You don't look at people because you are going to get
like the last time
in
I was out in
trouble
Missouri,
here.
I had to go like pick something up from a pharmacy because I forgotten a medication or something, so I had to go pick it up. And I just straight up struck up a conversation with someone I have no idea who their name is for like 20 minutes. We had a great time.
You do that regularly though. Like whenever we're
Yeah,
at
but
the
it was like I'm
store-
not used to other people doing it to me.
Yeah, that's true. I think, yeah, definitely. Because whenever I go somewhere with you, like when you're in line at the grocery store or whatever, you're good at like breaking the awkwardness and making friends with people. And sometimes that happens, but generally people look at you like you're absolutely insane.
Yeah.
If I try to talk, like, because usually you have this presence that makes people comfortable. I don't know if I have RBF or what, but I try to do that with people, and I just get like stared at. It's rare that I actually get a conversation going. And so, because it's just not normal here for people to actually look at each other in the eye and be friendly with people that they don't know, because it's like there's this attitude of mistrust everywhere.
Yeah, so writing about this kind of community, I definitely had to like obviously I studied the movie, but like I also kind of had to draw on like, okay, what do I remember
about being in a in a community where there was like a lot less crime. I could walk to my friend's house like at 9 o'clock at night and not even worry about something bad happening to me.
Yeah.
Which you never get away with over here.
Anyway, and like eating food that people bring to you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I just know, like, teachers, police department, like, you have to be like careful about even accepting food from people because there's so much hostility toward people in any type of influence.
Yeah.
Like, even as a teacher, people bring me like food and I'm like afraid because I'm like, okay, the most innocent thing is, oh, well, it could just be germy and I don't want to get sick. But like that's but you never know because people are so like spiteful. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's just we
have a very resentful community out here.
Just the people coming and bringing them food is precious, and I love that.
Yeah, I love in the movie, like one of my favorite moments is just how excited Ida and Yajirozu get over like getting the hero worship almost. They're just like, they look like they could die happy right there.
And then of course at the same time we have Kirishima getting ready to go on a date, which is adorable.
Yeah,
and the girls are definitely helping him out there.
Yeah, I thought I was like, there's nobody in this. I was like, there's no dude in this class that can help this guy out. It's gotta be the girls that are helping him out here.
So Mina is just the gem that she is.
Mina's the heart. Mina's the romantic. So she's got to do what she can to get this thing going.
Oh yeah.
And then Uraraka's kind of she's like she and Mina have gotten closer as a result of the whole one for all dynamic that the secret that they've got shared among them. So she like picks up on what she's trying to do and goes in to help.
Yes. Sorry, I just
that doesn't feel comfortable on my leg.
But it's cold.
But that's really uncomfortable on my leg.
Such a baby. Okay,
I'd like everyone to know out there on the internet that I suffered husband abuse this week.
No.
Yes. My wife got mad at me and threw a Rubik's Cube at me.
Okay, first of all, I have not thrown anything at him in like 8 years. Okay. And it was also a fight or flight response, okay? Because
you stole my cookies.
I was really hungry. He was baking like straight up 50 cookies. He was baking a ton of cookies.
They weren't done yet.
They were done. They came out of the oven. They were
No,
done.
that doesn't count as done. For me, the insult was that she didn't allow them to be finished. I'm like, you don't take someone's meal when they're not done with it.
They had powdered sugar on them. They just didn't have an inhuman amount. So
No. You put the powdered sugar on there to bake on, and then you add more for dusting extra flavor.
Anyway, I was really hungry. The whole kitchen had been taken up by baking stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to grab a cookie real quick in between, like, taking care of I just put the kids down for a nap. He chases me. I cannot get away. I am short. He has long legs. He's like tickling me. So I threw a Rubik's Cube at him. I didn't know what else to do.
We'll leave it up to you, internet, as to whether or not it deserved a Rubik's Cube.
And then I shoved the rest of the cookie in his mouth to get him away from me. And
I ate it.
No, you exhaled and crumbs went everywhere and I had to vacuum it up.
I ate most of that cookie.
Anyway, sorry. Okay. How did we even get on that?
I'm not entirely sure how we got on that.
Oh,
it's
because
funny.
I was trying to put my foot under you because it's cold and you wouldn't let me. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
I have bad circulation. I could feel my foot getting numb because...
Can I put my foot back here?
Yes, you can put your foot back there.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. So we have the girls helping Kirishima to go out for a night in the town, and then Kurai, Uraraka, Mina, and Izuku, they're all eating dinner together, and then we kind of have a funny moment that shows how far Kurai has come as a boyfriend, where like he probably went in the same Deku's like giving him this look that's like, well, we need to train, and he's like, no, we gotta go out on a date first. And like at the beginning of the series, like he never would he would have been right there with Deku.
Yeah.
He would have been like, no,
no,
we gotta
no
go
time for this. We gotta go train.
We gotta go training. And now he's like kicking Deku under the table, and he's like, do something. He's like, dude, stop being stupid. Go out with her.
He's like, yeah, you can wait for
like
45 minutes or whatever, however long we're gonna go for our walk. Like, chill. Priorities. But no.
Yeah. I thought that like it's one of those like minor character development moments. I felt like, because like that's not. I don't know if that could be considered important to like his growth as a hero type of thing, but like it is progress.
He's becoming more aware of the people around him and their feelings and how to be balanced. And it's like it's not that he's blowing Deku off. Like he absolutely is going to come back and train with him.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, man, like chill. 45 minutes. It's
not
gonna
gonna
be
kill us.
fine. We're just gonna go for a walk. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Like we'll work out when we get back.
Yeah.
But no, I guess I could see that.
Yeah. And because Kurai like gave Maharo stern talking to, we don't get the scene where Katsuma comes up and tells him there's a villain, and the sister's like doing an illusion of this giant mantis looking thing.
I was expecting that, and so I'm glad that
no, I was like, no, with the level of force that he used to tell her, that would be like, he just discouraged any kind of shenanigan ideas from her head.
Yeah.
Because she understands, like, if I do something like this again, this guy's not going to let me off the hook. It's not going to go well.
I half expected it to still happen with Deku later, like, while they're out, but it works either way.
Well, like, she knows that Kurai would have heard about it. Is the she knows that he's not stupid.
Yeah.
So, like, she's, like, 8 or 9, maybe. I don't remember exactly how old she is, but I think she has enough of reasoning at this point that she understands, like, okay, messing with this guy, that's not a good... Like, after Bakugo went off on her in the movie, she stopped pranking the heroes. She's like, this is not... She's like, all right, don't mess with these guys anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I think she has enough pattern recognition to understand that's not a good idea.
Oh, yeah. No, she's old enough to definitely... It just depends on the personality of the kid. Because, like... If she was like, yeah, call my dad, see what he'll do, because there's kids who would act like that. But I think she's the kind of personality who's like, no, I don't want to worry dad. I want him to not be
able
stressed.
to work
yeah,
without worrying about it.
I mean, the personality that she displays in the show, it's like, no, she's more motivated by her concern for others than her own ego.
Yeah.
Because some kids absolutely would be like the cliche troublemaker as a cry for help. Right, but that doesn't really seem like the case here. She's just trying to make a point to her brother because she wants to protect him.
Yep. Yeah. So that's... But yeah, so we don't end up with that scene, which I guess kind of shortens this chapter a little bit. But we do still get the scene where Katsuma comes up and he apologizes. He just doesn't apologize for staging a villain attack.
Yeah.
He just still feels bad that his sister did what she did in the first place. And you kind of get the sense that he's like, maybe this guy's like mad at me by association, so Kurai's just kind of like, no, I'm not mad at you. You didn't do anything wrong.
But yeah, it works, and it just kind of shows.
We see from his interactions with Eri that like Kurai's kind of decent with kids.
Oh yeah. He's reasonable. He's not like other OCs that you've written.
I'm not apologizing.
And we also, we do have Bakugo's little tantrum about the all-nighter.
Oh yeah.
Of course
that was always funny to me. But I was like, that was too good not to put that in.
Oh yeah, but it also made me realize, oh my gosh, the fact that he went through the following day that we know is coming, after not sleeping all night. That's rough.
I mean, it's not that he didn't sleep all night. He just went to bed later than he normally does.
The night shift.
The night shift, yeah.
So they're not up.
It's like 8 to minute. Well, they have their phones. Like if a phone call comes on, I'm sure they have their phone set up so that it'll ring real loud and someone will wake up and get it. Okay. But like, just, he's just patrolling the general area.
Okay, I was just under the impression he was gonna be pulling an all-nighter.
No.
Oh, okay, that's good.
No, he got some sleep, just not as much as he usually does.
I was all feeling sorry for him. I was like, oh, fighting for his life on no sleep. Poor Bakugo. And I know I don't say that lightly because yes, he's a brat, but you guys know I have a little bit of a soft spot for characters like Bakugo and Vegeta. Anyway,
that could turn out pretty great given the right character progression.
I mean, I married someone who has the same Enneagram personalities, so or not
Myers-Briggs.
Enneagram, Myers-Briggs. Myers-Briggs.
Yeah, I don't know that my
personality.
hero has an Enneagram match.
Yeah, I don't know.
I imagine
I
that if
don't- I
Bakugo
haven't
was
checked
in
it
it,
out.
he'd be an 8. But
Sorry, I was thinking Myers-Briggs. That was the first thing that came out of my mouth because I haven't even talked about those things in ages. But yeah,
yeah,
I think that's about it.
that's
for
about it.
this
Well,
chapter.
pretty much the ending scene. Not quite. Like they had the bit with Katsuma, and it's a little different than how it was in the movie, because in the movie it's just Deku talking to Katsuma while Bakugo's kind of listening to him, but didn't say anything. This time we have Kurai in there, who like he can sympathize. He like is able to again sympathize with Maharo. He's like, I understand why she doesn't like us now. She's afraid for her brother, and he like kind of looks down at himself.
can relate to
robotic
that.
arms, scars all over his face and his body. Like he's been messed the hell up.
And feels so responsible.
Yeah, and so he's like,
and his brother,
Yeah.
just the state that his brother is in.
yeah, he feels responsible for that. So he's like, but at the same time, he's like, he doesn't want to discourage this kid from like doing what he really wants to do.
and following.
He should just be ready. He's like, if you do this, we should try not to worry our family while we're at it. And he gives him, of course, the important lesson. He's like, beating up. He's like, when you're fighting a villain, like, it doesn't matter if you have a great quirk or not. The fact that you're there choosing to stand up to them, that's the important part. So I quite enjoyed it's some minor changes to the dialogue, but I quite enjoyed putting them in there.
And Bakugo still has like important, because I think when I first was hearing it, I was like, oh, he's getting kind of like overshadowed a little bit, but he still has good lines and he still has like good development.
Yeah.
Because he still has stuff to say.
Yeah.
So
Like his attitude, his attitude's changed like just a little bit from the original canon, because he like I mentioned, like he can admit he knows that Kurai is stronger than him, but that doesn't stop him from what his goal remains unchanged. He still declares that he will be the best.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's at the top; he's going to surpass
he's
them.
just not as over the top about it
Yeah.
as he was before.
Yeah.
That being said, so then they get
So
the call
they
about
get the call,
the
and Bakugo
villain
doesn't.
attack.
Bakugo doesn't recognize Maharo's voice, but he kind of figures out who it is. He's just like, oh great, it's this kid playing a prank. I'm not doing this. And then Deku is like, no, if she's calling, it's real. He's like, what makes you say that? He's like, because he's scared. He points to Kurai. He's scary to little children.
And then we kind of end there. So sorry, little cliffhanger. And the rising action happening right here.
Yeah. Next chapter we'll have first encounters with the villains from Nine's crew, and as Joklon mentioned, I do have an original villain that I've created. I may put her character art up on fanfiction, depending on the dimensions work with me when I put up the image. So we may end up getting her as the cover art for a week or so.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll look forward to talking more about her when she comes along in the next chapter.
Cool.
But thanks you guys so much for listening to all these for like the last two and a half years.
It's crazy that it's been that long.
Yeah, well, it's been more than 2.5 years actually, because this April is gonna be the 3-year anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah. So thanks to all y'all who have stuck with us for that long.
It's the COVID story.
Welcome to everybody who came along for the ride in 2022.
Yeah.
We hope you stay through 2023 and onward, depending on how long the story goes for. I look forward to another good year of writing. This has been a really good exercise, and I'm still very much enjoying it.
Yeah, and I think it's sparked a lot of ideas for other projects too, which is nice.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for the support, guys, and happy 2023.
Yep.
That's what year it is, right?
Yep, it
Oh,
is
okay.
2023. I hope we all have a plus ultra new year.
You're funny.